Hey, Nana, how you doing? I have been well. I've been really well, and that's good to hear. You're good. I just wanted to hop on real quick. This is gonna be brief, because normally I would wait for people to kind of trickle in, but I'm gonna just go ahead and touch on some of the things I wanted to touch on because I did a video, okay, in my series, my new series that I'm doing, on the 5 times X celebrity demonstrated whatever sign placement. And, this is also kind of piggybacking off of the last live stream that I did, but I just wanted to make it formal. So essentially, I wanted to shed light on the effects of Neptune and Uranus over the mass majority in the collective and the ways that it can really play out in real life and time. And from observation, like I said, what really just triggered the light bulb was an encounter that I had with a subscriber based on a video that I did. It really got me to thinking, and it really got me to really want to investigate just how deeply people were being impacted by these energies. So I'll cover the example or whatever the incident was towards the end of this video, and then just hop right on into the quote unquote lecture, if you will. So when it comes to virtue signaling and groupthink, let's start with virtue signaling, because I actually took the time to look up some definitions, okay? Now, virtue signaling, the definition of virtue signaling is the action or practice of publicly expressing opinions or sentiments intended to demonstrate one's good character or moral correctness on a particular issue. Now, virtue signaling in and of itself is definitely associated with the Piscean era. And I actually did a video on this on my Patreon. So shout out to the Patreon family. Go ahead and subscribe today, sign up. But essentially, when Neptune is in Pisces, which transiting Neptune is currently in Pisces, this increases this phenomenon, okay, to the point where it can produce hypersensitivity to any perceived slight, criticism, or discrimination. And although sensitivity is absolutely needed, right? This is not to say sensitivity does not have its place. This is not to say that certain things should be viewed from a lens of compassion, of sympathy, of tolerance and acceptance, because all of those things are very much Neptune and Piscean. But too much of that Neptune and Piscean energy, or the darker side of the Neptune Piscean energy, which I'm discovering a lot of astrologers don't really touch on that either, like the darker side of just signs in general, but the darker side of these more favorable signs like Pisces. But the darker side of this can dissolve boundaries to the point where everything becomes a slippery slope. So it creates a situation where people cannot differentiate between another person who is speaking in a way that could make you uncomfortable, right? Versus somebody actively seeking to oppress and destroy, right? It becomes very shifty, like nobody really knows where one begins or the other ends, and all of it is essentially kind of treated the same way, to the point where every single thing is labeled as, a person trying to victimize another person, which is very Piscean and Neptune. And also, once again, because there are two sides to every coin. So this is not to say, and I always say this when I'm talking about Piscean energy, even on the individual level, right? This is not to say that even Pisces dominant people or people who have, strong Neptunian influence, that there are not instant or valid instances of you actually being victimized. But it is saying that a lot of times these people can go looking for it, or it can foster a thought process to where one can even find these things in situations where it may not necessarily even be intended by the other party or whatever the circumstance is at hand. And because Neptune and Pisces also deals with shame, during this era, you will see, people shaming others a lot. So that also goes both ways. So shaming in terms of, and I know y'all have heard this phrase, like, oh, and I've even used some of these terms myself. So I'm speaking collectively here. Victim shaming, slut shaming, fat shaming, my shaming, yo shaming. We, are, I don't know, puppy shaming, cat shaming, mommy shaming, daddy shaming. You got a shame for every day of the week. But we've also devised shame as a weapon to attack people who seemingly disagree with our morality. Okay, so this is where cancel culture has derived from. So, and once again, it's not to be confused with actually holding people accountable or engaging in dialogue and challenging people to abandon negative or just straight up just wild, disrespectful mindset and rhetoric, right? So, because it's not a cop-out, which could also be Neptune and Pisces. Everybody's looking for cop-outs. But it could also work in the other direction and serve as, like I said, a tool, a tactic to make sure that you kind of just lump people all in the same category, or shame, because Neptune does deal with shame once again. So shaming people into submission. Okay. Neptune and Pisces is also very submissive. It's a submissive based sign, or, Neptune is a very submissive planet. So if you're not careful, a lot of people can find themselves kind of ruminating in that. Okay. Also, it could lead to lots of spreading awareness. And I'm noticing that a lot, like a lot of people wanting to spread awareness, which in and of itself is not a bad thing. I can't stress this enough. We're talking about when this goes too far, right? And the distinction that has to be made is when you're trying to spread awareness about something, or let's say you're trying to posture yourself on a particular issue about something, but deep down inside, like either you don't really believe it to be true, or, there's no significant action being taken here. So it's kind of like, who are you to speak on the next person about this kind of thing? Okay. A lot of people pat themselves on the backs with self-aggrandizing speeches, or think about it like in terms of an example. I remember back in last summer, when everybody was marching, when the George Floyd protests popped off and people were angry, and rightfully so. Okay, rightfully so, whatever. People were angry, and you had a lot of companies talking about, well, we love Black people. No Black person deserves to die. And, we love Black people. We love the Blacks. We love people. All people are real people, because we love people, and people are people, and we one love, one life. And it's like, that would definitely be virtue signaling, because these are the same companies who pay people minimum wage. You exploit people for capital and labor. But because, it's, I guess, the right thing, you want to seem like y'all are so caring and moral. Instead of paying people a living wage, right? You rather just tell us that Black Lives Matter, post on Black squares, will even paint the street Black, but nothing is actually done. Nothing of any significance is actually done. And therein lies the whole concept of virtue signaling. I've been live for about 10 minutes, not too long at all. So, and you're going to notice a lot of that when it comes to Neptune and Pisces. You just will. That's just what comes with it. And I've also seen this on an individual level. Something else to keep in mind when Neptune is in Pisces, and the danger of Neptune in Pisces is that in getting lost in a lot of these things and getting lost in a lot of the virtue signaling, it can become very disingenuous and cheap. And you have to understand that it has no direct correlation with you being a good person. In fact, virtue signaling has been psychologically tied to narcissism. All right. Which is not to say that all people who have, a certain set of morals and ethics, or maybe even all people who virtue signal are narcissists, but there are a very strong set of narcissists, or even people who harbor or who fall on that spectrum of narcissistic behavior, right? Who adopt and employ these tactics in order to receive or seek validation. And that's also very interesting because Neptune and Pisces, I know a lot of people would equivocate Leo with narcissism, and of course, or narcissism, and of course I would too, but right behind Leo is Pisces and Neptune in terms of, being the sign or the planet that deals with narcissism. You got to think about it. It's grand gesturing. People could hide behind these things and take them on like a costume. Like you're playing a role. You're saying all the right things. You're doing all the right things, which is also very much consistent and on brand with that Neptune and Pisces. Playing a role. It's an image. It's a facade. It's not real. I even like to correlate this to celebrity culture, right? And the type of culture that we live in with the celebrities. You have a lot of celebrities who go along with what they feel the public narrative is, which, not to get too ahead of myself, a lot of that is also tied into groupthink. And I personally think virtue signaling and groupthink are very much intertwined within our society and how it's applied. But you have a lot of celebrities or a lot of public figures and a lot of people who will like say certain stuff and be like a good example is with the Donald Trump thing, right? Obviously, this is not to say that you cannot take a principled stance against Donald Trump, nor is this saying that I like Donald Trump, because you got to make those disclaimers during this era with Neptune and Pisces and all this Aquarian energy, or else folks will get all conflicted and confused and outraged, right? The point is, when Donald Trump was in office, you saw a lot of people who did, it's not even necessarily that they disagreed with Donald Trump, like genuinely and on the facts and on the substance, right? Or even that they knew enough about politics. Because once again, I started discovering that people don't really know what the fuck they're talking about when it comes to politics a lot of times, right? Not the average person, unless you are a serious like political buff. But what they would do, especially when we talk about liberal circles and Democrats and stuff like that, they would kind of read the climate. Okay, people hate Donald Trump. So I'm going to say things and I'm going to do things to let the public know that I'm not a bad person. And I feel like Donald Trump was the perfect scapegoat for that. And not to mention, Pisces and Neptune does deal with scapegoating. It prevents you from thinking very critically on your own. So it's just kind of like a cop out to just say, hey, I'm not a bad person. Look, F Donald Trump. He's horrible. I can't wait till he gets out of office. And I mean, even take Donald Trump out of the equation, insert whatever particular issue you want to talk about, right? Public figures will say, yeah, I believe in this, or I believe in that. I believe in that. I believe this, that, this, that, this, that, this, that. And then let's say you have a celebrity who just finally comes out and says how they truly feel, and it's counter what other people feel to be true. Or they find out that the person who, has been telling them what they wanted to hear for a long time kind of is doing something different behind the scenes, or their facade is ripped away. People are outraged. People are angry. People are hurt. Oh my God. Canceled. You're canceled. You're canceled. Like, it's like, that is so Neptune and Pisces. Like, it's so Neptune and Pisces. It's really weird. It is really weird. And it has impacted the best of us. Because I'm not even finna act like I've just my whole life have been so above the fray and so above it all. But, you know, knowing the way that this could play out astrologically is very important, so that you can make sure that you're always constantly checking yourself, right? So, you know, because Neptune and Pisces also deals with merging, you know, to a certain degree, once again, collectivism, merging, all of these things, universal love, all of these things are important, and they do have their own place. However, once you merge too much, you completely lose any type of individuality, which is why it's also important to keep in mind that Aries is the next sign over. Okay? Aries is the next sign over. Aries deals with individuality, self-preservation, and all that good stuff. But Pisces completely lacks that. So when Neptune is in Pisces, a lot of people will be lacking that. Okay? A lot of people will be lacking that. A lot of people will be hypersensitive to things that people say, things that people do. You're going to find a lot of that. Even when I'm on woke Twitter, like, you know, respect such and such's pronouns, and you got to do this and do that. And like I said, it becomes a slippery slope, because obviously I don't think any well-intentioned human being or a functional human being would want to disrespect a person or go out of their way to try to make a person feel like this and like that. But every single thing that hurts your feelings is not me discriminating against you or me trying to oppress you. So y'all have to keep that in mind. Okay. Also, a lot of people, especially when we start talking about that narcissistic kind of spectrum, cling on to religion and spiritual beliefs to also further uphold these kind of virtue signaling tactics. Okay. Which is also very interesting, because Neptune in Pisces also deals with spirituality. It deals with religion. So a lot of people could swap their own, whatever their personal faiths are, to kind of uphold and prop these things up. Okay. So these are very important to think about, and to take it back and bring it back full circle to the example that I was touching on earlier. So I made a post right after my Sierra. I did a Sierra video on the top 5 instances in which Sierra showed that she was a Scorpio. And this didn't make the video because I completely forgot about the rumors. There were some rumors that Sierra was a hermaphrodite. Now, what the correct word to use instead of hermaphrodite, if y'all know, drop it down in the comment section, because I don't know what the correct term is. Like, I mean, we grew up saying hermaphrodite, so I don't know. But somebody was like, yeah, you know, people were saying that she was a hermaphrodite, da 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 da. So I went back and I looked at her placements, and I'm like, that is actually very plausible. That is very plausible. Like, all bullshit aside, like, I could definitely see. I mean, it's not because I care that much to try to lie on her. Like, based on the astrology, she has her Saturn right at the 27th degree of Scorpio. The number 27 breaks down to 9, which can deal with male genitalia. It could also deal with masculine influence. Saturn in Scorpio can produce issues with the genitals, conjunct her Scorpio South Node. Then she had a loaded ass Scorpio South Node with her Sun, conjunct Pluto. And you see this in the charts. I see this in the charts of a lot of trans women or trans men, or people who could have been born with some form of asexism, which happens a lot more often than people would think, right? It wasn't meant to be like this crazy ass slur or attack. But I tweeted it, and then when I took a screenshot of my tweet, I posted it on my community tab. And basically, the girls got angry. The girls were like, somebody said that's a slur. So I said, well, what's the correct word? Nobody let me know the correct word to use. Then somebody else said, well, and mind you, she had her Mercury in Pisces, which is why, I was like, okay, this Pisces discussion has to be had. Because she's like, well, I just find it disgusting that you're insulting another Black woman. And you could have just said that this aspect shows that this is what people say about her, not that, this is what the truth is. And I'm like, well, no, I'm explaining what the aspect produces. And I'm not, this aspect doesn't necessarily produce people talking about it. It can produce a person who is a hermaphrodite. Like, what are you talking about? And so then she got lost in the weeds and started talking about the way I said it and how I said it. And we've already established that I'm not like, I'm a Sagittarius. I don't really sugarcoat things. Sometimes we can have foot and mouth syndrome, and it is what it is. If it's something that I feel like is really detrimental to another person, I won't try to, justify it. I will apologize for it. But who the fuck I'm apologizing to? Like, it is what it is. And I said what I said. And she continued to go back and forth with me. And it was just like, oh, and she thought she won this argument in her head. It just got really weird, really fast. And then she, like I said, hit me with the black women. It's disgusting. And there was a lot of people who liked it. It's just disgusting to see black women do this to black women, which also triggers something in my brain. Okay, intersex is the correct term. Okay, fine. I don't even know if I want to use that. I mean, intersex. Okay, fine, but whatever. If that's what makes people feel better about it at the end of the day. But you see what I'm saying? This is Neptune and Pisces. You have to say, not that I have a secret vendetta against people who were born with the coochie and a penis. Not that I have a secret vendetta against people who are not like me, right? Where I hate you and I'm tearing you down. And let me tell y'all what's wrong with these people. I'm describing the facts, and then people don't like the words you using, and now it's the end of the world. and now it's like, oh, it's just no class. Oh my God, cancel. Like it's like that is so Neptune and Pisces. Y'all are some bitches. Not y'all in the chat, but like the collective y'all. Like people are bitches. Like get the fuck over it. Get over it. Get over it. It's so many terms to remember. It really is. So with that being said, okay, when she cosmic women, I mean, whatever, it's fine. And I get the and as it pertains to, because I've even seen some people use the argument of like how you refer and how you address trans men and trans women. I'm all for it. If I'm talking directly to a person and they say, hey, my name is A, B, C, and D, could you call me A, B, C, and D? Obviously, to your face, I'm going to call you A, B, C, and D, because what reason would I have to, like, that's weird. Like, why would I not call you that? You know what I mean? But talking about explaining something on my platform, like, explaining a concept, why do people have to do all of that? Like, you know what I'm saying? So whatever. But it did make me want to take another look at that, Uranus / Aquarian energy that we have going on as well, and kind of parse that through also. Does that count for Pisces sun too? What you mean, like being sensitive? I mean, it could. Social media makes everything a million times worse anytime you express how you feel. They will harshly criticize you. Exactly. I don't know why you're not a mind. Gen Z, I'm guessing that the child was Gen Z. I don't know what the fuck they were. I don't understand. I mean, it's not even meant for me to understand or anybody to understand a trans. Like, if a person is transgender, they're transgender. That's fine. You know what I'm saying? But I wasn't even speaking on transgenders. I said she was a hermaphrodite based on her placements. And I should say allegedly, because I'm not in the lady's pants. I went in there when her mama birthed her out. But based on her placement, she does. I can definitely see those rumors being true. And so perhaps I did not word it in the correct way. Perhaps I just came out and just said it like I'm talking to a person in my living room. You know what I mean? But because Neptune is in Pisces and niggas is losing their minds, like it was the end of the world. Like people were just so upset. The girls were angry. The girls were angry. They were. She said that you have no. It's classless. Bitch, when the fuck I give a fuck about class, girl? Hello, have you been on my? Why are you here, girl? Do you watch any of my videos? Like, I don't do none of that respectability bullshit. I just say what it is, and like, I just expect that you are a adult who has a brain to some degree, and you're able to parse through information that works for you. And I'm learning that I'm giving people a little bit too much credit. But Neptune and Pisces wants people to baby them and hold their hands and put my titty in your mouth. Come here, little baby. Come here. I'm sorry. Let me tell you. Let me make you feel. Girl, no. I got one child. That's it. Okay? I'm not doing all that shit. I remember a teacher telling me hermaphrodite, so I will continue. The teacher told you like the term was hermaphrodite, and that's what I'm saying. At least when it comes to words like, oh, tranny, I know that's a slur. Like, I ain't never sat up here and caught nobody that, but literally we would use hermaphrodite. Like, we would use that word, like, and it wasn't even in a negative or derogatory way. Like, I've heard it used in a what you call it, like a informative space. And so, I mean, I guess perhaps I can accept that people are, we not up to terms. We got to update the terminology, but that is the essence of virtue signaling. Like, a person who you know don't mean no wrong, and you up here like, well, why, how did you, like, police tone, like PC police. That's what it is. Like, the PC, like politically correct police. Like, that's not what you said. Why would you say that? Why would you say that to somebody? Why would you? And it actually hurts. It hurts actual causes when it comes to like social justice and people who are actually trying to do things to improve the conditions in the lives of people in real time. You know what I'm saying? And I also said this in the last live that I did. You got valid instances of people actually being discriminated against, killed. You know what I'm saying? People did dirty for what they look like or what they got. And it's not that deep, but here you are under little old YouTuber me talking about some goddamn, well, why did you that it's just disgusting for you to say about a black woman, and you said why is you speaking on her genitals, and why girl, go to the hottest part of hell, bitch. Get out my face. I mean, sometimes terms change because they're inaccurate. Is not necessarily a sensitive thing. I get that too, but what makes people sensitive is when they take that, and instead of taking a more emotionally mature approach, you want to you start calling people names, you start like attacking people over it. You start making assumptions about a person's behavior or their intent. Because I had somebody do that too. Well, it just seems like trying to psychoanalyze me. Bitch, don't study me because you're not going to pass. Oh, well, it just seems like she has an issue. It seems like you don't know what the fuck you talking about, bitch. That's what it seems like. But people do, they think they have the right to do those things because of that Neptune and Pisces, that lack of boundaries. Back your ass up, bitch. Back up. Wasn't the big deal of gender not being labeled, but and you know what, that's a good point. That's actually a really good point, because I do hear a lot of people saying, well, like, no, I don't want to be labeled, but then every day you look up, it's like, well, yeah, no, I there's a new label. I got like about 10 labels. And me and my friend actually was having this conversation the other day. Like, I feel like labels make people feel special. Labels make people feel, and this is where we get into the concept of groupthink. So I'm gonna stop right there and kind of segue into my groupthink portion, okay? Because we are dealing with this grand conjunction energy, and I have spoken on it, like I have hinted on it or touched on it in some of my prior videos. But with us having this grand conjunction in Aquarius and Uranus and Taurus, once again, a lot of astrologers would like to focus on the lighter side of things and on the part of this energy that just makes people feel so good. And, oh, this is going to be a time of electrifying, magnetic, life-changing experiences, and everybody is going to, feel good. Oh my goodness, when Saturn meets Jupiter, it creates a drive to succeed and luck and abundance. And and it's like, all right, like, okay, that's fine. But we live in a lower vibrational world. Like, you got to think about reality. And because I'm a Capricorn North Node, I can't help but to have a lot of who I am based in reality, right? That's not reality. The reality of it is that when Aquarius and that Uranus energy really takes root, okay, it can produce two sides to it. And on one end, especially as it pertains to like the groupthink thing, you have the leader versus the follower. So you have the stereotypical definition that most people do tend to think of when they think of Aquarius, which is, the rebel, the leader, the person who is going to do what they want, and the rebel browser. But you also have the follower. Aquarius deals with the collective, which encourages and fosters groupthink, especially on places when there is a lot of people or a large following, or people can come together and exchange ideas. And one of the biggest platforms for this is social media. And Aquarius also deals with social media and the internet. When it comes to groupthink, there's also this really big expectation to conform to group norms. Okay, which you could even look at that with Uranus and Taurus, because Taurus is the sign of conformity placed in Uranus. You literally have a whole group of people trying to set a new norm for what is to be accepted and what is to not be accepted. And y'all can also go check out my video on Uranus and Taurus, because I kind of touched on that as well. Now, since we getting real technical based, I looked up some definitions for groupthink. I have two. So the first one says, the practice of thinking or making decisions as a group in a way that discourages creativity or individual responsibility. Okay, that's the first definition. The second definition is actually by Psychology Today, and it states, groupthink is a phenomenon that occurs when a group of well-intentioned people makes irrational or non-optimal decisions spurred by the urge to conform or the belief that dissent is impossible. The problematic or premature consensus that is characteristic of groupthink may be fueled by a particular agenda, or it may be due to members valuing harmony and coherence above critical thought. And the bottom line is, people don't think critically, and that is why groupthink is so dangerous, because it prevents people from really being able to figure out what feels right for them. And very similar to Neptune and Pisces, and that Piscean energy, yes, there is a place for the group. There is a place where collectivism is healthy. There is a place where these things are needed to a certain degree. I'm not arguing that they aren't, but especially with us having so much of this energy going on, Saturn conjunct Jupiter, right? Transiting Sun is in Aquarius right now. Pluto's finna head its way into Aquarius in the next few years. Y'all need to be fucking concerned, because we ain't seen shit yet. We have not seen, and I don't want to plant fear necessarily in people's hearts, because that's not productive either. But I'm gonna need people to actually start thinking. I need you to start thinking. So when Aquarius really takes root, right? Another really big manifestation of Aquarius is the need to attach oneself to a higher cause. And typically these are altruistic causes with the intentions of placing everyone on an equal playing field. And although, once again, the intent can be good, it can quickly turn into a need to preserve the group at the expense of what's best for each person individually. And, that's just what it is. Okay. Groupthink strips people of their humanity. And when I think of the different examples that I see of this in real time, one of the biggest ones, even tying it back to my initial example of that post that I made with Sierra, one of the biggest criticisms that I got was, how could you be a black woman and say this about another black woman? Bitch, what I hate that. And I'm noticing that a lot of black women, and I can only speak on black women because I'm a black woman, just in case y'all ain't picked it up, you know what I mean? Just in case you probably didn't know this. It's probably hard to believe, Hood Astro Queen is black. Like, but you know what I'm saying? I can only speak on the spaces I navigate. And I do see there being like an uptick in this kind of like black woman narrative. And I think it started from a good space in terms of black women not being adequately protected or represented, right? Especially when we start talking about the, in-house politics of black people and maybe the way black men have treated black women over the years. I get it. I get all of that, right? All of these things started from a very pure space of really trying to make sure, and that is why Aquarius is also the sign of the humanitarian as well. But people just kind of get stuck in that humanitarian mode, right? The lighter vibration is the humanitarian, and it is all about trying to, attach oneself and devote oneself to something larger, right? A larger purpose, fighting for the independence of X group of people. So there are a lot of Aquarians who are social justice warriors and all kinds of stuff. That's fine. But it takes a really sharp turn left when you create this hive mind where because we're coming from the standpoint of protect black women, anything that could be perceived, once again, and it's that intersectionality with Neptune and Pisces, anything that can be perceived as the counter to that, or a threat to that, or a criticism of that, or where people can kind of step out that box, or it can be perceived as something that could be counterintuitive to that, y'all attack. And you create these very unrealistic expectations for people. An example of this is just hopping into my comment section saying, me voicing my astrologically based opinion about someone is wrong because I'm a black woman and she's a black woman. Don't white people do that all the time? I'm sorry. Even let's say I see this a lot, even astrology aside. Like I see this on YouTube all the time, or just in life, like in Hollywood, everywhere there are a lot of people. It'll be two people arguing, right? It'll be two black women like, bitch, fuck you. Nah, fuck you, bitch. I hate you. Like, yeah, yeah, I don't like that, bitch. And then here come you Aquarius ass motherfuckers. Why are black women fighting? This is just wrong. This is just wrong to see black people fighting. Two black women fighting. That is disgusting. Two black women tearing each other down. Ugh. Why are you a black woman turning down another black woman? Wait a minute. Last time I checked, I thought disagreement was literally human nature. Even if you want to talk about fighting, not liking a person, that's human nature. Expressing dissent, expressing how much you don't like something, how much you don't care about something, being against a person, right? All of those things. When you step outside of the black community, motherfuckers do that shit every fucking day, all day. But because I'm black, because I'm a black woman, I'm disagreeing with a black woman, I have an opinion about a black woman, I have to be stripped of my humanity. And that's what Aquarius is. Aquarius is robotic, and that is the dark side of Aquarius. That's what I mean when I say y'all need to start paying a fucking attention. And this is not to scare people. This is not to be the fucking, Paul Revere of astrology. The British are coming, but it's just to say there are so many examples of this in real time that bother me, and it's like we haven't even gotten started yet in terms of just energetically speaking. Because it's like it literally strips you away of your humanity. As a human, I am entitled to emotion. As a human, I am entitled to not be happy all the time. As a human, I am entitled to not be picture perfect, a popularity contest. I am entitled to be who the fuck I am. And I don't give a fuck what my role is. I'm entitled that. You're entitled that. So who the fuck are you to try to strip somebody of that? Because it fosters more, like a agreement. And that is one of the definitions or one of the subsets of groupthink. People are pressured to conform, right, to what other people feel like should be done or said or thought to, kind of lessen the ability or lessen the chances of there being any type of disagreement, to keep the peace, and Saturn, or Aquarius is co-ruled by Saturn, rather. And Saturn is very rigid. So that's something else I feel like a lot of people overlook when we talk about that Aquarian energy. It's like, oh, Aquarius is so new and great and bubbly and it's But yeah, Aquarius is still very much rigid, and it's still a fixed sign. Aquarius is still very much do what the fuck I want you to do or get the fuck on. It's Aquarius is Capricorn with some glitter, with a little bit of jazz. Capricorn with some Adderall, like, it's not that big of a difference. It's still oppressive. It can be very oppressive and very restrictive and very tyrannical and very authoritarian. That's the word I used earlier. Y'all get into it. Authoritarian culture is coming. It's on the way. It's here. It has arrived. Even the idea of bashing people who are trying to silence and remove platforms from people. I even spoke on that in my last live. Okay, fine. We don't like Donald Trump. I get it. Get it. Got it. Good. Fuck Donald Trump. Think about what type of precedent this is setting, especially with Saturn in Aquarius, conjunct Mercury at that. The censorship is real. Big tech companies like Facebook and Twitter, aren't they owned by the same person, Mark Zuckerberg, whatever his name is? These are people who are just the sheer astrology of it all is saying that these are people who are going to, these entities, these corporations are rising to power. I mean, they're already in power, but they're going to have more power than they've ever had before. And it's going to definitely extend and bleed over into the internet, which is what a lot of YouTubers have been complaining about. And it's so funny because Aquarius, like I said, also deals with social media. It also deals with YouTube. So a lot of my, YouTubers, fellow YouTubers are feeling it. The censorship of it all. And when you don't have corporations trying to censor you, you got people trying to censor you. Or people trying to like chastise you, and ultimately that's the bottom line of it, right? Whether people actually are aware of that or not, right? And there's a difference between engaging in discourse and challenging, thought and having dialogue and all that other stuff. But just this whole concept of like any person who just directly says something that you don't like or something that is against the grain, it's met with so much hostility. It's met with people roasting you, dragging you, doing this and doing that. It's very weird. It's very, very strange. And with that opposite polarity of Aquarius being Leo, right? Leo dealing with what? The entertainer. It's really going to affect a lot of celebrities, but also, once again, a lot of public influencers, a lot of YouTubers, a lot of people who are in positions of either power or maybe people where they're speaking to a lot of other different people. And, I'm just little old me, but even with little old me, I'm starting to feel it. So I can only imagine, like, if I was like a big ass YouTuber, it's horrible. Deb Atney says she voted for Trump and got back. Exactly. And that's a really good example of that, because when you dissect, and I'm not even finna get all up in my little political rant, but once you dissect, because in that same episode, they showed BB Judy and the Brad, and they were talking about politics, and that's why it's important to vote, and but it's like when you observe their reasonings and their thought, they're regurgitating someone else's ideologies. Like, it was so unoriginal, and you could tell it was just for a lot of people, like I said, because a lot of people are not into politics, or they have a very surface level of what they feel like it is, or they just don't know what they're talking about. And so it's like, well, people just want change really fast, and change can't come really fast. So I think that's why people don't like voting. But we gotta vote because we gotta get Trump out of office. And it's like, do you know we are in the middle of a panoramic, and you have been living in a declining empire for decades? Niggas ain't got time. But like I said, I digress. We ain't even finna get all up in the weeds on that. But nobody had anything to say about that. However, when Deb Atney was like, well, yeah, her opinions were uninformed, but she was actually a lot more honest. She said, look, I don't really agree with his policy. I don't really know that much about his policy, which, I mean, is dangerous, but okay, fine, respect. She said she don't know. She said, I like the motherfucker because he just the type of person where it's like, I said what I said, and I'm that type of person too. And I was like, oh, I mean, I don't agree, but I actually could respect her more than I respected Big Judy, whatever her name is, in the Brat, because they just sounded like annoying. But that once again, that's their hive mind. That's their hive mind. That's the Aquarian group thing. So, whatever. I'm not pressured to do shit. I'm an Aries. Come on now, Mars, Sun, and Mercury. Come on. I hate Trump, but those black women bashed her on the show. It was weird. And they're trying to treat her like, it's time to have an intervention. But like I said, and mind you, Waka don't believe that shit either. Waka low-key a Trump supporter, okay? Or whatever it is he believes in. However, he was one of the main ones telling his own mama, like, mama, you can't say that. Mama, you can't say. And that's what I mean when I say half of these celebrities and all these like liberals that y'all think y'all friends for real. Cause they lying to y'all too. They don't even believe what y'all think they believe. And so you get mad at people who are brave enough to say what they believe. And it's like, y'all are weird. But I've always had this thing, but you're not going to bully me out of shit. And I don't give a fuck. Ain't nobody finna bully me out of a goddamn thing. And while I'm at it, I decided that I am going to make a video of all of my astrological unpopular opinions. And I'm going to include that Sierra one in there too. So people can go cry. And I mean, I have to do it just because it's me and that's just who I am. I got to do it. It's coming. I got to, I'm working on creating and writing the script for it now, but it needs to happen. It will be happening in the very near future. Cause I mean, y'all love trying to shut people the fuck up, and this not gonna happen. Hey Justin, we just talking about Neptune and Aquarius, or Neptune and Pisces and Aquarius. Groupthink versus virtue signaling. My brain went blank there. They censored the president. They're going to censor us, and they have been. Mark Zuckerberg. That's what Boosie called him. Mark Zuckerberg. See, even YouTube fucking with me. You didn't get a notification. If y'all didn't get a notification that I'm going live, y'all please make sure y'all hit the bell. Hit the bell if you haven't already, so that you'll get all of my notifications, like whenever I'm doing something, because I've been peeping games too. Like, I think I'm officially getting to the point where YouTube has like decided what they wanted to do with me in the algorithm. So they'll just kind of throw my shit to the side. You know what I'm saying? So Nisha, who you talking to? Which one of my placements make me so childish? Before I answer that the way I want to answer that, who is you talking to? Is it me? Is it me? Because it can't be. Because last time I checked, you are in my chat. So if I'm childish, you're watching me in my chat, what does that make you? Bitch, you ain't got no point. Everything is not childish just because what? Like I don't understand what are the standards for like this imaginary engagement rule book? Like I don't get it. Y'all hoes is weird. Please, I'm waiting. I'm waiting on the standards. What's the standard? And then bitches like walk off like they done made up my point. Girl, what was the point? I'm still waiting. No, I don't need to learn how to handle criticism. I get criticism regularly. I got minds in here we done had a difference of opinion. There's nothing wrong with criticism, but there's everything wrong with you trying to make it seem like I gotta believe what you believe, or for you to assume my intentions behind something that I said. That's the distinction that I've made, and I thought I made it very clearly. I can also be very passionate about what I believe in. That still doesn't negate that I know how to handle criticism, nor does it imply that I don't know how to handle criticism. So, any more points? Anything else? And if I'm not tripping, for people who have been in my lives, like on a regular, do I not say like, okay, I want to know why people, like, I want to talk to a person who believes in something different than I do. I don't mind talking to people who don't believe in what the fuck I believe in, or who don't agree with me, or people who have a suggestion. We live in like the real world. I don't mind that. It's y'all internet motherfuckers who got a lot of nerve and audacity. And I don't make enough money to like act like I'm Beyonce on you hoes and just act like the shit don't exist. Cause I'm that's just not me. That ain't never been me. It ain't never gonna be me. And if you don't like it, then don't subscribe, don't fucking watch, ho. That's as simple as that. It's literally take it or leave it. You ain't gotta tiptoe around me, boo. I want you to be you the way I'm gonna be me. Fuck you talking about? But you gonna like, let's make it very clear. We gotta set boundaries. Well, the person who criticized you about the Sierra comment wasn't even rude, but you went straight to cursing how. Actually, no, I didn't. And the person who criticized me about that Sierra comment left a 4-page letter being passive aggressive, and then went on to try to imply that she knew what she's suffering. She's dealing with some type of situation, blah, 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 blah. And then went on to start calling me names. So I don't get it. Like, why do y'all think people can't respond the way that they want to respond to people? Like, I don't get it. I'm a little confused. Just like you're cursing me out angry because of my opinion. Because it's invalid. Like it's not true. I can be annoyed. It's not true. I take criticism all the time. So it's like, clearly you're not a regular viewer of my channel, or you don't watch my shit, or like, did you not even watch this whole live stream? Because that's where this whole live stream came from. Me making the distinction between like, okay, valid criticism versus people trying to project shit onto you. And that's what she was trying to do, because those were the arguments that she was using. You know, the black woman trope, you know, the you didn't have class trope. She didn't even spend a lot of time trying to debunk me on the astrology of it all. She just went to other shit. So yeah, I'm not going to have a lot of patience for that. I'm not going to have a lot of patience and understanding, because like, what are we talking about? Why are we talking about me? Girl, I'm talking about the astrology of it all. And you trying to psychoanalyze me. Go do your, like, quit studying me. Same thing with you. If you don't like it, then leave. And I'm passionate. So let's just be honest. I want to make this very clear too. I'm not angry. This is just who I can't, this is just who I am. Like, this is just me. No, she's not the person who left the Sierra comment. She was probably the one who liked the comment. She ain't the one who left it, because I know the person who left it. Because that hoe is bliggity. I invited her to the block party. To the block party. Because she just kept going on and on and on and on. And so that I wouldn't be tempted to go on and on, I relieved her of her duties. No, and I actually don't even want y'all to come at Nisha, because it would be completely contradictory to, if that's a word, completely contradict my groupthink thing. So y'all ain't gotta come up and take up for me and like my defense or nothing like that, because I can defend myself. This is just how I am, and that's just what it is. I don't need people to, like, you're right, that's your opinion, and I can say it's dumb. And because you don't know me and it don't make no sense. That's all. And since we want to talk about black women and black women and black women, don't they do that to black women all the time? Why are you angry? Why are you angry? What? I'm passionate. I'm a fire sign, sweetie. That I don't know any other way to be. I got this way when I was talking about politics. So, there's that. God is good all the time. All the time, God is good. So leave Nisha alone. We ain't even finna foster that. Now, Lord, help your children. Lord, help your children. Why do people act like they personally know celebs? I don't know. You know what it is? I do know. It's because people are very, what do you call it? Like, celebrities are very accessible. And that ties back to that internet theme. Because, if you would equate the celebrity to Leo, the polarity of that is Aquarius. So, like, the internet, the celebrity, that makes a lot of sense, actually, why celebrities utilize the internet so much. Why the internet is such a really big kind of underpinning of their platforms and their fan bases, but people have access to them. And they feel like they know them like that. So I'm just saying, sis needs to leave the BS somewhere else. I'm a Sagittarius Mercury too. Mm-hmm. Sat Sun Mercury. Mm-hmm. Who we talking about? We talking about somebody in the chat who started the convo. I was talking about some what placement makes. Now, which one of your placements make you so childish? And I just wanted to know which one of her placements made her watch childish people. That's all. Apparently, there's a narrative that I can't take criticism. That's what the girls are saying. Writing whole dissertations on someone else's opinions. Mm-hmm. Thank you, Cosmic Women. Sometimes it's good to try and get an outside perception of your own feelings, like learn to observe your feelings from the outside, and that goes both ways. Fair. Fair. That's fair, but I don't necessarily, and maybe this is something that I've always had. I don't really, if I don't know you personally, I don't really value your opinion like that. Like, unless I've established some type of connection with people, right? I typically don't, unless I've had like a positive engagement or interaction or some type of constructive interaction with the person, I have a difficult time really trying to cater, or not even cater, but take into consideration like what they have to say about my emotions. Nah. If we're talking about like a topic, a subject, right? A craft, like astrology. Once again, if that same girl from that same post, if she made the post about, well, you said Saturn in Scorpio does this, and from my observation, Saturn in Scorpio does that, and from my observation, I've actually gotten into back and forth with people, and kept it strictly about the subject, the topic. If that's the case, I shit. If you teach me something I don't fucking know, because I don't know everything, I salute your ass. Like, all right, oh shit. I'm quick to concede my point if I feel like it should be conceded. Like, oh, okay, bet. If we're talking about subjects, even when politics, anything, any type of topic, any type of conversation that we're having, if you're giving a counter argument, a counter perspective, or whatever the case may be, or something that just don't agree with me, but you're able to I know you at least believe in what the fuck you believe in, or what you're talking about. You're able to articulate yourself, and you're like, look, this is how I look at it. And that's, I don't fuck what you talking about, because this. I will hear that shit out every day of the week. But when we start talking about me, and that's another thing I don't get. Why do people get to talking about you and then be like, why you take it personal? Bitch, because it's me, ho. The fuck? What the fuck I'm supposed to take it? Like I don't get it. Cause she literally made 80% of the post about me. Like, well, it, like, not about the astrology, not about like, well, I felt like you made an error in your calculations because, my God, it was just like, oh. So let me get this straight. You're talking about me. You're making assumptions about me. You're trying to even with Shorty in the comment section just now. So you say something slick about me, and that was a slick, underhanded comment. Which one of your placements makes you childish? Girl, was I supposed to get what was the appropriate reaction to that? Like, well, I'm glad you asked, because welcome. Like, bitch, fuck you. Bitch, fuck you. And that's just where my brain goes with that. That's just my mind. Because Lilith is a whole Gemini. Lilith is a whole fucking shit. Patricia, and that's so funny. The people I disagree with the most be my fucking minds. And y'all be saying shit, and I be like, girl, goodbye. Like, and y'all say the same thing. That's why it's funny. People argue with me because, yeah, I think so too, Moonlight. And not that I know all of the truths, because I want to be, Sagittarius can be very self-righteous. I try not to be. I don't know all the truths, but I'm starting to notice that too, Moonlight. Mm-hmm. Your older sister is a Sag Moon. She's very honest. You need people like this in your life to keep you grounded. Big facts. Thank you. Awkward Letter 95. Personal problem within themselves, inner problem. If you struck a nerve to weak people, is to trigger. Yep. And you know what? I'm coming to accept that this is what I'm here for. It's part of my calling. It's part of my calling. And you know what? I will say I do need to do a better job at exercising my Capricorn North Node. Okay. Cause if now that I know how people are, I'm just gonna start acting accordingly. I'm working on it though. God ain't done with me yet. Some of y'all hoes be having a lot of audacity, lots of nerve, lots of audacity, real disrespectful. The problem with these people is they want to label you and have a whole discernment about, yeah, if you think this way, exactly. If you think this way, then that means you like this and this and this. Therein lies the problem. And they shouldn't be making points about all of us being Black women and judging other. And it's like you're contradicting yourself. But okay, whatever. Negative people are very insecure deep down inside. I can see that. Pick-me's. What happened? Who's a pick-me? Your sun and moon is in the 9th house. You try not to be self-righteous. You only want to be surrounded with like-minded Black women. So and you know what? I don't mind not being surrounded by like-minded people. Like I said, like when it comes to like disagreeing on a topic or something, like or having different perspectives, it just really does. It boils down to communication. It boils down to communication in the way that you articulate yourself. Debating is not the problem, the lack of respect. Exactly. And it's like, I don't really mind talking about an issue. People are passive aggressive. Then when you bring the heat, now they feel victimized, or now I can't take criticism and A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I can do a video on the asteroids. You was using that as an example. Oh, it's a lot of Black women that's pick-me's. I don't fuck with them. Oh, gotcha. Yeah, agreed. I don't know what you want to call it, and slowly, guys, I'm entering like a paradigm shift where I no longer have the desire to identify with communities. Like at first, it started with the Black community. First, I was like, I don't want nothing to do with the Black community. Not because I don't like being Black, not because I have an issue with my Blackness, but because of me recognizing that Aquarius shit, where anytime you have a collective, that's where shit starts going left, and people started once again upholding values of the collective while oppressing you as an individual. And I didn't like that, and so then that's when I found myself retreating to the Black woman one. And then now I'm starting to see that being weaponized against us, like I said, even today, like, oh, why were you a Black woman saying this about a Black woman? Protect Black women with our Black women, the Black women. I mean, why you're a Black woman and you can't do that? Even when it comes to like reality shows and stuff, like I've seen people say like, well, why are Black women on reality TV fighting one another? And it's like, y'all didn't watch Mob Wives? Them white hoes was gangster as fuck. They was gangster. Beating the shit out of each other. Like they literally was around men who was a part of the motherfucking mob. What is y'all talking? Like they daddies and husbands used to put bullets in each other's heads and shit. Like these hoes is out here flipping tables, punching folks in the face. Like, but when it comes to Black women, like we can't argue. You see what I mean? Like that's not human. Who the fuck doesn't argue? Yeah, it's not that much information on asteroids, so that's why I will definitely do. I guess I'll compile a list of books and resources for people to get into, like if you're a beginner in astrology or if you want some more resources for asteroids. So just remind me, just hop in the comment section or something like that. Remind me and I'll create that post. Okay. Because I know a lot of people can benefit from it. We're all put on earth to collaborate with ideas and points of views, but people decide to fight and decide to not listen to others. The egos get in the way. Facts. Black community doesn't give a fuck about Black women. That's just truth. Yeah, they don't. The Black community doesn't give a fuck about Black women, but I'm starting to realize how toxic Black women are too. And that was something that, once again, if you're operating in the groupthink, in the hive mind, people will shun your ass for saying that. A Black woman saying Black women are toxic? You hate yourself. What? You a pick me. No, y'all like the divine feminine, like some women who exist in that like feminine realm, and I guess that wouldn't make it divine, but them hoes be just as toxic as like toxic masculinity. You got toxic femininity and masculinity, and a lot of women, like, their views on stuff are equally as toxic as the black men, and like it is forcing me to like think outside once again of those binaries of like, oh well, you know, because for a long time, and I still kind of do hate men. I have my own issues against men, but like, damn, like women. I don't know. I don't like to attach myself to groups and collectives, you guys. It gets scary really fast. My wives, yes, Karen was a gangster. I miss Ange. All of the wise guys. Yeah, me too. The wise guys. Yeah, my wives, Jersey Shore. All them white folks was gully as fuck. They was with the shit. But then you get like a love and hip hop, and they like, ugh, black people. Look at just oh my God, black people fighting one another. Ugh. You know, and those be the respectability Negroes, you know. How dare you do that in front of Mouser? Why would you do that in front of Mouser? Quit showing out in front of all these good white folk. Leave them alone. Like, why do we have to be stripped of our literally like doing what all humans do? Even down to saying like, okay, I can't handle criticism because you said something smart to me. That exchange right there was very Aquarius. Like, if somebody will say like say a smart comment towards you, and you cuss their ass out, well, you're not able to handle criticism. Like, I'm not a fucking robot, bitch. What you want me to say? I'm entitled to my humanness. And I don't think people are used to that. Like, especially when it comes, and I don't want to make it seem like I'm just a public figure. Like, I mean, I ain't nobody for real on the internet. But I'm just saying, I have seen it on a larger scale with celebrities and stuff. That's another reason why people treat celebrities or feel like cancel culture is needed. Because y'all don't even look at these people like people. People are people. So why can't they have the same shit that you have? In terms of like basic human emotions and responses. Why do you think they would operate any differently than you? People are people. Quit trying to dehumanize everybody. Everybody's not a fucking robot. Just because you have the anonymity of the internet, and half of the people who say the shit they say on the internet would never say it to nobody's face because you would get punched in your fucking mouth. That don't mean I'm supposed to, you know, like when they see celebrities, any of the celebrities who show their emotion, and you know what, I would even have to go back and I low-key owe Cardi B an apology, because I used to be one of the ones who'd be like, man, Cardi's so annoying. She is a bird in her own right, but I will have to cut her some slack, because it's like when people see other people showing emotions and they are in a position that they feel like it's either better than theirs, or you know, these are people who interact with the public a lot, people just feel like something wrong with you when you actually show that, when you actually show your emotions. People are people. I think Cardi is just, I think she's a bad person. I mean, I feel like, in my mind, from what I see, the bitch is fucked up, my opinion. But I will give her that. I gotta give her that. Same thing. I will say the same thing about Azalea until she started boiling the cats. That's where she lost me. But, you know, just celebrities or just people in general. People be passive aggressive, and then oh, I'm way behind in the chat. I lost my damn place. Yeah, you gotta be you gotta care about yourself out here. You do. Which in a weird twist is also kind of Aquarian. But like I said, it's okay to use balance. Like balance is always needed. You just have to, the shit gets real dark sided when you start shifting into extremes, you know? Like the extreme polarities of everything. Like I said, there's a place for sensitivity, there's a place for group, there's a place for all kinds of stuff, but people get too hive-minded around one ancillary idea or concept, and that defines every single engagement and encounter that you ever have. And like, it's kind of weird. The Black community does not promote individualism. And you see, that's why I always compare the Black community to Pisces. If Pisces is about merging, you know, Black people don't want nobody to be individual. And I feel like white people are too much of like they're too individualistic. Like white people are Aquarius. White people are the other polarity of Aquarius. The kind that's like too individualistic, too separated from their own humanity, too separated from their own thought forms, and things like that. That's why they've been able to do some of the most weirdest, most fucked up shit to other groups of people over the years. Cardi can sing. I don't know about that. Eros conjunct Saturn is not, I mean, it could create issues in terms of being able to either be sexually satisfied. There could be a lot of fear associated with, you know, your ability to become aroused and things like that, because that's essentially what Eros is, right? The things that arouse you, the things that, you know, like your sexual, I mean, you could even, you know, say sexual preferences. Maybe these are people who can go a long time without sex or something. Or people who are into like that sadistic sex, like pain is pleasure and humiliate me. So, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, but, you know. Terry Crews. What discussion is giving you Terry Crews vibes? I don't get it. Because I said I don't like being a part of groups. It would be Terry Crews if I sat up here and equivocated white people to black. That was some Terry Crews shit. Well, black people can do the same thing white people can do because there is black supremacy. I would never fix my mouth to say no goofy shit like that. Like I said, you could be multifaceted and acknowledge a whole bunch of different truths at once. Cancel culture is odd. If you're going to cancel someone, cancel yourself as well. We've all done. And now that I'm thinking about it, Terry Crews was another reason that made Terry Crews goofy is that he was trying to take the everything is equal approach no matter what. I don't feel like everything is equal no matter what. I'm just saying you need to be mindful of going to extremes in terms of overly identifying yourselves with groups of people and suppressing your own individual thought. I'm not overlooking trends or history or like, you know, this nigga literally just overlooked all of history just to be like, well, you know, black, there is a such thing of as black supremacy and what you like, no, not really, but okay. Cancel her yet our teens. I like Azalea too. I really wish she could get help, and I really feel like I understand her in a lot of ways. Like I connect to her in certain ways, but like it's to a point, and like after a certain point, it gets exhausting. I'd be like, girl, you making it hard. You making it hard out here to you know speak positively of you. But then again, I don't know the girl either, so it's just like I mean, hey. Everybody has their cross to bear. Exactly. I'm not a fan of picking sides when not knowing the entire story. Are you got some Libra placements or something? You got to stay balanced. Uh-huh. Oh. Oh, Nisha criticizing me. I'm still confused though. Are you saying she was like Terry Crews? What that mean? I'm still kind of confused. They care so much about what white folks think. Yeah. See, mixed people is black, so they're black. Then got the nerve to, yeah, exactly. Y'all are exactly. Perfect example. That's actually that's a legit ass point, Maya. That's real legit. Always concerned about what other people doing, how other people feel about you. Why do you feel like they're Aries? FBI. I don't get how people can be grown and stuck and be so emotional when it comes to celebs. I don't care how big they are. Right. I would understand that behavior. But like, nah, for real facts. All jokes aside, it's really not that deep. You're not paying my bills. You know, if something happened to me, you're not taking care of my child, my family. Like, it's not that serious. You don't even know I exist. Azalea does need some serious help, and I just really wish, I hope she gets it. And I know, and this is another reason why I have a lot of cognitive dissonance when it comes to identifying with groups, because certain things are fact in terms of like, once again, when we look at trends and when we look at history and stuff like that, like it's kind of fact, and maybe I need to do some more research on my end so I can say this a little bit more confidently, but that like Black women are handled and regarded in a certain way. They are. So like, especially a Black woman who is mentally ill or whatever the case may be, like society doesn't allow you as much wiggle room and leeway as maybe even a Black man or a white woman who where there's something wrong with you. We are, I mean, I think most reasonable people know it's something wrong with her. She is not right in the head. But I don't want to, and it's not even necessarily like, I don't know. Do I want to drag down another Black woman? Maybe I guess I am pulling that card. But then I would feel that way about anybody though. I don't know what y'all think. Do y'all think it's valid to use that Black woman card in that instance or not? Because I kind of get fucked up because it's like, okay, when the facts and the trends support that if Black women are typically treated like A, B, C, and D, and I want to give a woman the benefit of the doubt in that case, can I do that and still not be hypocritical to my original stance? Which is, I feel like anytime people use that Black woman mantra, it's to suppress individualism. What y'all think? I would like to know. So, some gray areas there. Some cognitive dissonance. Yes, them house beats be fire. You have Libra, Sun, and Mercury? Well, come on. Geminis are, that's because Geminis want to do everything. Geminis are busybodies. Geminis want to do everything. They want to experience everything. Libras are indecisive because they literally want to make sure they're making the best decision. I completely missed your comment. Little Terry Crews let another man fondle his balls and didn't react because he didn't want to be an angry Black man. Jupiter square Uranus in Libra in the 7th house, retrograde. Um, what is your Venus looking like? What sign is your Venus in, or what house is it at? Because I'm gonna be honest, I don't like Uranus in the seventh house at all. Like, I don't like it. And honestly, another way you can look at that, I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be like, oh, you're doomed for divorce. You could also look at that as like, maybe you'll have to, like, you'll be in a long distance relationship or a situation where like it'll just kind of be like a real unconventional living arrangement between you and your partner, like they over there and you over here, or where there could be a lot of distance, physical distance, maybe even emotional distance. Maybe they may not be all the way emotionally available to you, or you know what I mean. But I ain't gonna cap, I don't like Uranus in the seventh house. I just don't. Because I mean, on depending on other things, I mean, it could produce a relationship of convenience. And that's why I said, like, if it's of convenience, especially squaring Jupiter, it could lack emotional closeness. Well, is Jupiter in your fourth house? Because that would make sense if it's squaring. Would Jupiter be in your fourth house? Then that would actually further support my first point in terms of maybe y'all will be like, maybe y'all will move around a lot, or maybe your partner will be in one place and you be in another, or some shit like that. Maybe they be in the military or some shit. I don't know. But I don't like Uranus in the seventh house because it can produce relationships built off convenience, but which is not, I mean, that bad depending on who you are. But another way to look at it, like if it is adversely aspected, it really could deal with where a person has a difficult time maintaining like long-term just relationships in general, friendships, marriage. So do I think the draconic chart is the chart of the soul? I absolutely do. Have y'all taken a look at your draconic charts? Because essentially it represents your essence, the essence of your soul, like undisturbed, who you were to be if there were no outside influences or factors. Like, and it can actually help you understand a lot of like the karma in terms of why you're here as well. I like to factor it into my past life readings. Can y'all guess my draconic sun and moon? Because I feel like if y'all knew my draconic sun and moon, y'all probably, I don't think it would surprise y'all. It would not surprise y'all at all. Let me get this shit out my screen. Wait, who the hell was calling Paris Jackson a black woman? Oh, Lord. What does it mean when you have a Pluto in the first house of the 28th degree of Scorpio? Oh, you saying your Scorpio rising? Well, your dream. Well, I don't know. Sorry, somebody texted me. It could speak to a lot of people who I find have scorpionic influences or plutonic influences in the first house. These are people where like they either lack a very strong sense of security, whether it's emotional security, whether it's physical security early on in life. So the hallmark of your life experiences are going to be that transformation theme, right? So these are people who can find themselves going through a lot of high pressure situations, sometimes a lot of fucked up situations that are going to force them to reinvent themselves or force them to evolve. A lot of them could also be very spiritual people. These are also people who may be victims of abuse and so on and so forth, or they can attract the venom and the dark sided nature from a lot of people, especially when you have that 7, your ascendant at the 7th degree, because the number 7 is the number of the empath. So, you know, maybe you attract people with all kinds of problems, but end up turning around and kind of like siphoning off of you and your energy. So, you know, for these people, it's very important for them to learn how to wield their power effectively in terms of course, boundary setting, but also learning and understanding when they're trying to overpower other people as well. Okay. Aquarius in the 7th house sucks. Like, I know a lot of people with like Uranus or Aquarius in the 7th, or these are people where a lot, or even Venus in Aquarius, like their relationships could just lack a lot of intimacy. Like, these are people where like, I'm gonna give you an example, a celebrity example. I did a natal chart reading for Adrienne by Lawns, whatever, the girl from the Cheetah Girls. Okay. And in her first marriage with this dude, I remember her telling everybody on the real, she was like, he doesn't like holding my hand, and he doesn't like doing this with me. He doesn't like doing that with me. Like, basically, the nigga didn't want to hug her in public. He didn't want to kiss her in public. He didn't want to do no PDA. And basically, she got Aquarius in the 7th house. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. You know, these are people who can attract relationships where like the person might be your friend. You know what I'm saying? Where like y'all act more like friends than y'all actually do romantic partners, or where you know it's just void of passion. Azalea acts like Kanye, but Kanye will always have a career. Now, I will also say this though: Kanye was in the game a lot longer than Azalea before he started showing his ass. So people got like a lot more invested in Kanye. To be fair, they're thoughtless and impulsive collective people. They're also incredibly reckless. War and aggression is the only language they speak. Okay, fair. Although I think it's very important, and the reason why I still stand on the Aquarius is because white people are weird. Like, and no shit, no. I know I got some Astro cousins who are white. So, like I said, as a collective, y'all cool with me. Okay, if you here, you cool with me. But I'm just saying, as a collective, they can be weird. Like, they be on that weird shit. Like, even when you talk about a lot of the perversions and stuff that have been introduced to society through white people, like, that's very Aquarius. Like, white people be, as a collective, they be doing they some weird ass people. They ain't got no rhythm, because at least Aries is still fire. Fire is still passion. It's still, they ain't got that. They ain't got no flavor. They ain't got no passion. All they got is just, I don't know what they got. Y'all let me know what they got. What is white culture? I have no clue. The most boring zodiac sign? Absolutely not. I don't think Virgo is the most boring. I mean, Virgo is routine, but I wouldn't necessarily say Virgo is boring. I would probably say, I actually would probably give it to Capricorn, guys. Yep, Libras are indecisive because we think about our choices and how decisions will affect other people around us. We don't want people. Hey, there you go, Patricia. Libra always wants to find the path of least resistance. Libra does not like conflict at all. Even think about Ashanti during that verses. Yes, she's a Sag Mars, but she still exuded a lot of that traditional Libra energy, where like things was real awkward, and she'll come in and be like, "Ha ha, what's up, y'all?" Like, Libras are all about like, we gotta get to an even keel here. We gotta balance out this energy. Being born prematurely have any effects astrologically? I'm supposed to be in Aquarius. Well, I feel like you're born when you're supposed to be born. So like, that's about it. You're like, you know what I'm saying? Like, because your rising sign, aka, your ascendant sign, literally ushers in your spirit, like onto this realm. So, and that doesn't occur until the exact moment that you leave your mom's vagina. So the exact moment that you left your mom's vagina, whether it was a little bit earlier than it originally anticipated or not, is exactly when it needed to happen. So literally, I would go strictly off of that. I was supposed to be born 3 weeks earlier than what I was. My mom was actually late with me, or I was late, because I like to take my time. I was supposed to be born November 13th. I was supposed to be a whole Scorpio in these streets. So maybe that was 2 weeks earlier, but still. But that still doesn't really bear any significant weight. I mean, unless obviously you're going to consider like the scorpionic placements. And that's just because of how the planets, unlike when you consider the speed of the planets and how fast they rotate, right? If you are born maybe a week or two or relatively close to whatever the original birth period was, you're going to have other planetary alignments that still kind of reflect that. Because let's say, okay, fine, you're not in my case, okay, I wasn't a Scorpio sun, but I still ended up having a Scorpio Mars that just so happened to be conjunct my sun. Do you get what I'm saying? So astrology, either way, is still going to account for that. You're a Gemini sun, Sag moon in your draconic chart? Well, I talk all this shit about Aquarius, but I'm an Aquarius. I'm a draconic Aquarius in a Scorpio moon. I'm Aquarius sun, Scorpio moon. Okay, I love you too, Aaron. They can't whoop you. You were involved with someone long distance? Yeah. So it's that kind of thing. So I don't want you to think, and of course other things matter in your chart. So I would kind of have to see the entirety of it to just be able to say definitively like, oh, your love life gonna suck. You ain't never gonna find nobody. Like, you know what I mean? Because for some people that is the case. Not necessarily that you're not gonna find nobody, but everybody is not put here to experience romantic love. That's another unpopular truth that people don't like to hear. And I feel like a lot of astrologers kind of oblige them with the whole like, well, it just means that love will come in its own time. And like, girl. So you had it, Big Pain. You see it. You saw I was an Aquarius. You felt that in my karma. You felt that in my spirit. I feel like maybe that's why I go so hard on Aquarius, because deep down inside, in a past life, I think I was a dark-sided Aquarius, to be honest with y'all. I think I was one of those Meg Thee Stallion kind of Aquarians, because I still got that same smoke. But I think I also have other alignments that balance that out. Or in my mind, I would like to think I develop a certain level of consciousness to where I'm able to control it a lot better. So when I see people exuding that dark-sided Aquarian shit, it bothers me. Same thing with Scorpio. But I got a fair amount of Scorpio energy now. But I was like, ooh, and my sun and moon were squaring each other again. I honestly have this theory. I feel like I might have been like a serial killer in the past life, y'all. No lie. I really do. Because in this lifetime, I feel like I'm on the receiving end of the energy. And because I'm a Cancer South Node, and this is something else that a lot of people don't talk about when it comes to this Cancer energy. Most people associate Cancer with things like, oh, well, sensitivity. And that is correct. That's not incorrect. But it's more than just sensitivity in terms of like, oh, well, you can't take a joke. Oh, you can't take, somebody said this to like, it's a certain level. It's like psychic sensitivity, because I don't think people give Cancer the props that it really deserves for being so psychic. But it's like one of the more afflicted psychic signs, because it can malfunction a lot more. I personally feel like it's more effective if you're going to have like major psychic placements or something like that, to have them in Scorpio or in Pisces, because with Cancer, it creates, how do I say this? Like, it creates visions. It can manifest in like irrational fears. Like, these are people who can have very vivid imaginations, and I do, especially with me being a Virgo moon. Like, I'll have an image in my mind, y'all. Even since I was little, like, it'll be like a regular day outside, and I'll have like psychic attacks. Like, I'm like walking down the street, and I'll see somebody get killed And it'll be, I can't explain it, y'all, because y'all gonna be like, you crazy. But it's like, it feels like you're going crazy. Like, I'll see somebody get killed, or it'll be faces that I ain't never seen before. I'll never forget, I was meditating a few years ago, and while I was like in my trance, I saw a little boy get beat. You know what I'm saying? Just weird stuff like that. And it fucks with me. But I feel like I'm on this path in this lifetime, because in a past life, I probably was a murderer. I probably was somebody who did horrible shit. And in this lifetime, God was like, yeah, you're going to pay for it, because you're going to be deeply impacted by the suffering of other people, or you're going to be deeply impacted and deeply disturbed when it comes to other people's shit. And here I am, disturbed and shit, looking crazy. That's why I also don't like to be around people who are too, I don't know, people who got too much going on, because that shit rub off on me. And I've been then, I don't know, I be out here depressed just because your situation. Who actually thinks Michael Jackson's kids are biologically his? I remember when Adrian said her ex-boyfriend locked her out of the apartment they shared, and he wouldn't give her a copy of the seat. See? I'm like, girl, I don't want to judge people like that, but I do be judging. Like, when women be telling you stories like that, I be like, girl, why is you with a man like that? Well, I don't attract nobody because I'm ugly and unattractive. Girl, you stay saying that. At first, didn't I tell you not to say that about yourself? But now I'm gonna just be like, yep, girl, true. True. Mm-hmm. You can't tell what? Best sign to marry? In terms of like marriage material? Honestly, and this would depend on what, because marriage is different for every person. What a person wants in a marriage is very different. But if you're a traditional person, I would probably say Taurus. Just because, like, if you're just looking for like a traditional, like, you know, situation where it's like you can rely on that person, they can rely on you, you want longevity, I would actually go with earth signs, just because, you know, they're more reliable, they're more predictable, especially when we talk about Capricorn and Taurus. They're safe options. Put it like that. They're safe options. You know, the Taurus, especially from a woman's vantage point, the Taurus is the protector and the provider. And they're the type to be, both Taurus and Capricorn are the types to be in it for the long haul. Now, with the Capricorn, you may not be wined and dined and romance. You could, but maybe not, depending on whatever else they got going on. So very similar to Aquarius, you might have more of a contractual kind of relationship, or like a relationship where y'all together for a long time, but it may not be mushy. But then again, what relationships are mushy the entire time outside of the honeymoon phase? So like I said, it just depends on what it is you're looking for in a relationship or a marriage, to be honest. You were born 5 months preterm. Dang. Well, I'm glad you're here. You were supposed to be a November Saggy. You a December Sag. The 7th house Jupiter indicate a rich partner? No, not really. It depends on what that Jupiter is doing. But Jupiter in the 7th house in and of itself, not necessarily. If you're looking, that's where aspects are very important. If you're looking for a rich partner, let's say that Jupiter in the 7th house was forming a sextile to your Venus, then I'd be like, now we talking. Like, what are we talking about? Like, or I'm trying to see. Let's say you have, honestly, that's a benefit. Honest with you, or maybe even having like Scorpio in this. Well, not really Scorpio seventh house. Maybe if you're a woman, a Scorpio Venus, a Scorpio Mars. If you're a man, a Scorpio Venus. A partner where you could kind of, because Scorpio literally deals with joint finance. So maybe Scorpio in the seventh house. But if y'all would ever divorce, it would be a problem though, because they want their shit back. Same thing with Aquarius. What does it mean to have Chiron in Leo in the first house in a composite chart? Well, there could be a major issue with both parties really like connecting with one another. Like, it could create a situation where two people are, how do I say this? It could create a situation where two people, it's almost like a trauma bond, if that makes sense. A trauma bond. So it can really set the grounds for a very dysfunctional relationship. Okay, especially if we're talking about in a sign like Leo. Because Leo does deal with love, it deals with romance, it deals with your ability to open up and connect with the person. So if we're talking about like a romantic relationship, that's not a good start. Other things matter, but I don't know if I like that. Your draconic placements are just like double Sidereal. Mm-hmm. You could be a tropical Sag. Yep. What site do you use to look at that? Because I use, was it Astro Charts? I think. Your draconic chart just sets the stage for your, I use it when determining your past life, like your past life experiences, because it can say a lot about who you were in a past life or what your soul is even put here to experience in this lifetime, the unaltered state of your soul. Like, and honestly, it's supposed to be looked at on like an abstract level. Like that's how it's taught, or that's at least how it was taught to me, to look at it at like an abstract level. Like, it's not to be as literally interpreted as you would like an actual natal chart, right? But in this lifetime, it can translate into like a lot of your traumas or your habits. Like, it could be like the underlying psychology behind why you do certain things that you do, or why you feel the way that you feel, or you see what I'm saying, or like certain encounters that you may have. And that's what I mean when I say it's supposed to be kind of abstract. Like, it could be the background, like the blueprint for certain life altering events that happen. It could kind of explain that. If you're the type of person who naturally is gravitated towards, or you're the type of person who subscribes or has these type of habits and patterns, right? Why is that? Like, from a karmic standpoint. Scorpio Mars, explain why you don't like men. Scorpio Mars, feel like Mars. Jugging us through the mud. Correct me if I'm wrong. Well, Scorpio Mars women can experience like very. That's one of the placements that can explain, or it can produce a woman who hates men. But also I personally would ascribe it to a lot of my Capricorn energy as well. Capricorn can definitely do that. And I know people love bringing up Black Moon Lilith, but Black Moon Lilith in Capricorn, which I also have, is another one of those placements that can almost guarantee like a woman who ends up hating men, or like a dark-sided feminist. So can Libra though. Libra can be that way too. But Scorpio Mars, that's true too, though. And just in terms of experiencing a lot of polarizing experiences with men, like, you know, or it could say a lot too. I feel like when it comes to in the chart of a woman, a lot of your Mars placements and even a lot of your sun is going to be the projection of the type of men that you attract. So you might attract men who are like, I know a lot of, you know, women with Scorpio sun and Mars can attract men who are for everybody. You know what I'm saying? You can attract very, once again, polarizing experiences with men that can be like life altering. And so it would make sense how for some women it could leave you on like some like fuck y'all type shit, you know. Well, number one, if you meet in, and it's very, 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 very rare circumstances where I would actually think it's okay to tell a person when or how they gonna die. I don't do it. And not only that, the 8th house isn't necessarily, I mean, the 8th house does deal with death, literally, but, you know, the 4th house, you also have to take the 4th house into consideration as well, because the 4th house does deal with the end of life. It deals with grave sites and stuff like that. But I don't like getting off in that because I just don't. Like, it's not beneficial. I'm here to help the living. I want to help the living in regards to their lives. Like, I want to help teach the living how to live. I don't want to get it. I don't want to, because I wouldn't want nobody to do that to me. Because if somebody were to tell me when and how, I would obsess over it. I would never enjoy my life ever. It's just not beneficial to me. Not Meg possibly being Ted Bundy in the past life. Listen, I think so. You talk a lot of shit about Geminis a lot, but when you found out you were, yeah. Because honestly, what we can call out in other people, there has to be something about you that resonates with that. When you think about it, it's a part of confronting your shadow nature. So like Geminis probably get on your nerves because deep down inside, that's what I mean when I say that draconic energy can really, that's how it can show up in your life. Like, it can explain the psychology behind a lot of your decisions, or, you know, a lot of your beliefs and the way that you live your life and certain things like that. Like, that's a really good example on an abstract level. Well, you know, I grew up hating Geminis, but it's like, nah, deep down inside, in the past life, you was a Gemini. Same thing with me in Aquarius. I feel so strongly about that Aquarius shit because deep down inside, maybe in the past life, I was a fucked up, weird ass, detached, like evil ass fucking Aquarius. You can't say something about somebody and it not be true for you. And that's for whatever it is. Some of the most horrible people, like when people always complaining about another person or picking, you know, oh, this person do this, and oh, I hate people who do that. It's like, well, a part of you literally has to identify with it, even if it's just a little bit. It may not be to that same extent, but that's something that a lot of people are not willing to admit about themselves, because, you know, they're just not. What does it mean when you have assets? When you have the sun squaring your moon, my sun in Pisces is squaring my moon in Leo. I see that, and I have sun square moon too. You see that in the charts of a lot of people with either personality disorders. It can be indicative of a very unstable home environment. A lot of times they come from separated parents, especially with that Leo energy. You know, a mom and a dad was separated, or maybe your dad wasn't around with that Pisces energy, or maybe he was passive or sick, or, you know, you could have abandonment issues. Hell, especially in your love life, you probably got hella abandonment issues, especially when it comes to men and stuff like that. It's just hard for these people to be satisfied, like sun square moon individuals. Like, it's hard for them to get to where they want to go because it's almost like they're constantly fighting themselves. So another way you could look at that Pisces sun square, your sun squaring your moon is like maybe when you cater to your, your tendency to be a lot more passive, there's a part of you who feels like you're overlooked and you don't get the attention that you deserve. And then when you step out there, you do something and, you build your confidence up to do something that you've always wanted to do, or, say something you've always wanted to say, take a chance. That's what Leo deals with, taking chances. You get let down or you get disappointed. And then you be like, damn, this is why I didn't want to do this. So let me go back into my shell. Then it happens. So, like, you see what I'm saying? It's hard to really satisfy both parts of your psyche, of your being. Like, it's so hard for these people to feel happy or accomplished. They're always feeling like they need more, or they wish they could have more, but they don't know how to get it. And it's kind of hard for you because Leo is a fixed sign, and it would be better for you if you had both like that square occurring in mutable signs, where like let's say if you were let's say if you were a Virgo, because you got to be a later degree Leo, or a later degree Leo moon. So let's say you were an early degree Virgo moon, right? That Virgo moon squaring your Pisces sun, or excuse me, not Pisces, Sag. It would be easier to rectify that. It would be easier to rectify that. If you were like a Sagittarius moon and a Pisces sun, or a Gemini moon rather, and a Pisces sun. If you was a Virgo moon, that would probably suck too, because that would be in opposition. I just don't like how some astrologers make it seem like you can't be psychic unless you have water placements. That's all. Well, I mean, it helps. I'm gonna keep it a G, but like I always say, Aquarius is one of the lesser known psychic signs in the chart. Like, I mean, even if you don't have water placements, you would need some type of like 4th house, 8th house, 12th house scenarios going on. But you would also need something going on with your even your 11th house or your Uranus. And like I said, Uranus or Aquarius, that can be very, 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 very psychic, very intuitive, very, and I mean very. Virgo is as well. Not gonna hold you with that either. Virgo is another one of those signs. Just because it's the earth sign, people don't give it the credit that it deserves for being psychic. You can't imagine being humiliated or disrespected, and all you have to say is an excuse to tolerate it. I'm in love. Exactly. You need a man with a higher evolved Cancer moon, because I crave affection more than physical attention. Okay. Fair enough. You use Astrology. Hold on. Let me see. What's happening, Tuli? Tuli. You heard that the 4th house Neptune Pluto transits can be the ultimate transformation. Yeah. I mean, depending on how the Pluto, what's going on, like Pluto could definitely take you up out of here. For sure. Like I said, I don't really like getting into that though. Mars in the 8th house doesn't necessarily mean an early death. As a Scorpio, I would be super paranoid and scared of something. Exactly. Oh, you said how you would die. Well, having more than 2 asteroids in the house count as a stellium, just like having more than 2 planets would. No, No, I wouldn't. Just because you got to look at asteroids as like the icing on top of the cake. You know what I mean? So it's not a solid foundation. Asteroids usually add to what is already built on the foundation, which are planetary placements, right? Because 9 times out of 10, asteroids only support certain things that could already be found in a chart. So I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't do that. If you got let's say you got sun and moon in the 6th house of fucking goddamn Pisces, and then you got your Juno and Pisces in the 6th house too. I'm not gonna say you got a Pisces stellium. You feel like a Sagittarius or fiery Gemini. You got a crush, opinion on Virgo sun, rising, Cancer moon, Venus, Mars, men. Once again, I would have to see his chart because, I mean, on paper, all right, but you would also like any afflictions to that energy. And this is why I'm so hesitant when it comes to Cancer men or Cancer prominent men, because it's like all it takes is one fucked up aspect and yet their relationship with women can be fucking atrocious. You know what I mean? So, or like in this particular person's case, they could be super fucking insecure and shit, and or super clingy, or needing a lot of confirmation and a lot of reassurance, or do a lot of, projecting. And I don't, but I can't say that for certain because I would have to see their chart in its entirety. Scorpio in the 4th house. Do you mean in terms of, just in general? In general, Scorpio 4th house individuals, because typically if you got Scorpio in the 4th house, you probably have Leo on the ascendant. So these are people who, despite being really outgoing or maybe having very public positions, a lot of these people could be famous once again, or popular, or maybe have jobs that place them in positions where they're dealing with other people or something like that. Very well-known people, typically very bubbly, outgoing people. Deep down inside, because you can look at that 4th house as like your shadow side. They're very secretive. They can be very private. Okay. These are also people who can be a lot more, a lot of these people come from childhoods that were very, almost like that, like what happens in the house stays in the house. And this is why they think the way that they do. It's often very hard for these people to maintain emotional peace as well. A lot of them can be psychologically disturbed, especially if you include other things. But they're also just the type of people who are very, they feel things very strongly, just like that Scorpio energy implies. And a lot of their subconscious mind is going to be programmed for them to experience certain things that are going to bring that up out of them. And typically they find that in their love lives. So this is why a lot of them, especially if we're talking about Leo risings, can attract very, unstable partners, which makes sense because that means you would also have Aquarius on the descendant. A lot of their home lives could have been unstable. They could have had a very fucked up relationship with the dominant parent. Or the least dominant parent, typically the father. Or maybe the early death of the father or something like that. Or, maybe there was some power struggles. Cry when you mad. Because you started off talking about the aspect that I was speaking about, and then found your way politically correcting my delivery and the manner in which my opinion was given. And it literally no longer became about the original point that I was making, as opposed to you saying, well, it was classless because you said this. Or as a Black woman, saying this about another Black woman is disgusting. After I've already established, okay, perhaps I worded it wrong, but even furthermore, I don't give a fuck about that anymore. This is why I said what I said from an astrological standpoint, which is why I included the caption. And you kept arguing, well, you took down the post, you took down the original post, and this and that. Okay, and what's your point? Okay, and you kept going with this circular argument. Like you was doing something, girl. You thought you was like the logical assassin. Then you hit me with the you a Mercury Pisces, girl. That actually you should have just kept that to yourself. Because what the fuck did that have to do with anything? Then I block you, and now you're here again. How did you get here? Nobody's supposed to be here. I blocked your whole ass for the last time. So like now you're back in my space. Now I'm confused, girl. Like, do you want to kiss for me, or like what's happening? Or is this conversation, did that mean that much to you? Or like what's happening? Like what's really good? I don't get it. Shorty made a whole nother account. It's circular, but you had two conflicting narratives. What are the two conflicts? You keep saying that, and I kept saying, okay, fuck that. I said what I said. I said what I said, because the whole point of the narrative was that you were saying, well, on one post, you said it definitively, and then you reposted it, and now you said allegedly. Okay, fine. Like I said, okay, I worded it wrong. On one post, I said what I said. On the second post, I said allegedly. Both times, I said what I said. So the fuck what? You and these narratives. That was the underlying point that I was trying to get at. I don't care. I still said what I said. So if you want to, talk about the merits of the technicality of how I reached that conclusion, technically, I thought Saturn did this, and, Scorpio, I thought Scorpio did that. That's fine. But you continue to make the argument about other shit and like shit that I thought we already agreed. I don't care. Like, okay, I caught myself doing my due diligence by saying allegedly. Clearly, that was not enough for you. So now, where does that leave us? Because I still said what I said, and you just kept going. Oh, gotcha, two narratives, gotcha. Oh, girl, you're not getting it's not. You weren't reading me the way you thought you were. I never said that though. What did I say? What I said? You know what? Your Mercury is in Pisces, so like I said, I'm gonna be a little bit more slow for you. I told you, sweetie, that I said what I said, and what you gonna do about it? Did I not? I even told you that I made the original post because it was a tweet, and I said it just the way I said it because I was just tweeting some shit. I took the original post down because I knew it would be little fuckers like you. Mm-hmm. And I put it in my bullets on my little community tab, and I just put the word allegedly. And then I explained the technicality of why I said what I said. Still wasn't good enough for you. Okay. According to you, I worded it wrong. And I know I told you that. Okay. So perhaps I worded it wrong. But my underlying message is the same. And you continue to go about that. So it's it's two different narratives now. Okay, now at this point, I don't even know, and that's why I said I don't have nothing else for you. I'm logical, and I'm logical. Bitch, what the fuck? Okay, now you're getting on my nerves. Now you're getting on my nerves because I still I don't get it. I still don't get it. Still don't get it. Still don't understand. And here you are again, sweetie, trying to siphon off my energy. What like, is there anything else I can do for you? Then she gonna end the argument telling something, well, I like to be logical. I gotta do what I gotta do because I'm Mercury Pisces, as if that just is not a horrible admission while you calling yourself in a debate. That doesn't even make sense, Megan. That's, first of all, learn how to spell my name. That's why I said I was there. Wait, I said I was there. Two conflicting narratives element. What the fuck did I not say? And you keep saying the same thing over and over again. And you're still not making sense. You're being vague. That Pisces Mercury is kicking in. Oh, my generic. What's the generic saying? Okay, too much energy. Okay, generic saying. Thank you, Neat. Generic saying. Come again. Thank you. Come again. And like, I deleted that hoe and she's back. Like, did you leave your bag? Like, do you need something from me additionally? Do you want me to cuss you out again? But I'm not gonna do that. Thank you. Come again. That's gonna be my saying. Thank you, Lilith. Right. How you create another account just to argue? Like, that's what I mean. That's exactly what I mean. And that is the perfect example of what I'm talking about. It's not a matter of people having conflicting opinions. It's people being argumentative with you, passive aggressive with you, trying to play in your face. And then when you respond, now it's, oh, you can't think criticism. Y'all don't. That's not the case. But I'm so happy Nick at Night is correcting me because I forgot. Thank you for bringing me back down to earth. Thank you. Come again. That's gonna be my, like, when I say that, that means it's over for that bitch. Thank you. Come again. The argument just keeps going in a circle and she keeps going and going. Professional Charles. Obsessed, right? Who, Lord have mercy. Yeah. Folks is real obsessed. I blame cabin fever for this panorama. Got folks bored and unemployed. Yeah, bored and wanted some attention. If she's a Pisces Mercury, because Mercury don't follow too far behind the sun, then she would have to be, honestly, the way she act, maybe the fuck she is a fucking Aquarius, actually. Maybe she is an Aquarius, because like I said, she got the groupthink on lock. She had the virtue signal on lock. I had to be sensitive. She ain't making no points. Super vague. Could be an Aries too, but Aries typically don't have that much energy. Aries burns out. Aries will burn out. Aries will argue in that moment. They'll be ready to engage in whatever in that moment. But if you don't agree with them, they're gonna say what they gotta say, do what they gotta do, and it's over with. It take a particular type of bitch to get blocked, make a new account, come back, rehydrated, and ready for success. In the comment section, that don't sound like Aries behavior to me. That don't sound like Aries to me. You guys, Mercury's probably squaring each other. That bitch squaring her damn self. She's squaring herself. Her Mercury done crisscross some of everything. That hoe retarded. Yeah, I'm chilling. Dark side Gemini people love to argue about foolish things. Yes, I'll be over it. That's how you feel. Next caller. That psychotic shit. Nah, that shit hilarious. Right. People just want to argue. She took her breathing. Right. It came like literally. She was like, all right. Okay, she blocked me. Okay, hold on. Let me think about how much energy. You know how many hoops YouTube put you through to make a new damn Google account? I mean, Google. Then you gotta switch that shit over to YouTube and then agree to the terms and conditions. That whole probably now she ain't. If you got your Mercury in Pisces, you ain't reading the terms and conditions. So she probably just skimmed through it. You know what I mean? Then hurried up and okay, hood Astro, ooh, queen. Then gonna try to call me by my name, but don't even spell my name right. You'll never fuck with another Aquarius. What was your experience with Aquarius? I mean, I already know, especially with you being a Cancer. But I would be interested in hearing like the anecdotal story. Maybe it's on her profile. Should be an experiment for you. I really don't care that much. People really be going psycho on these right demonic celebs. Like that might be Sierra while y'all playing. What if I had a thing on the side? She made me cry. She blocked me, but I came back to say hi. It might be Sierra while y'all playing. You know, all these celebrities be having burner accounts. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I mean, I don't want to shit on all people with Mercury and Pisces. If you watching this, and I know you and your feelings, don't be in your feelings, but all you know, it's just something. She making it bad. She making it real hard for y'all. Cause that ain't make no damn sense. Maybe she was a Pisces sun too. Maybe she was a Pisces sun. Not Cancer, Sun, Aquarius, Moon to go straight to hell. She was not a Gemini because it's too much to create another account. Our attention's not. Y'all is funny. Hell yeah, they be on them buying us. I've heard about that. Hollywood being built on cursed land. That better not be. Y'all are so funny. But yeah. I was into the YouTube streets and saw Tasha K killing Jaguar. Right. I watched that as well. What did you think about it? If y'all saw it, what were your thoughts? Here's my thoughts, because I did a reading on Jaguar Wright. I put it on Patreon. Maybe I'll upload it here. But I've already seen where Jaguar Wright, like clearly there's something wrong with her. She has her Gemini Mars opposing Neptune. Okay. She's not all the way there. She's just not. I've always known this. It's something wrong with her. And like, so Tasha K doing this documentary, and I guess you could say, because excuse me, Jaguar Wright does have a following and she does have people who take up for her, but I think most functional human beings can agree that Jaguar Wright is not mentally stable. So doing this interview by, you know, getting her family on camera and them admitting that she is a this and she's a that and that never happened, like there was no moment where I was like, oh, revelation, like, oh my God, like I had no clue, like that. I did not see this coming. Like it was like, oh, okay. Like I just, then the part, y'all see the part where they interview her son. Now let's talk about that. Not only is that too far, and I feel like, I don't give a fuck what's going on in these streets. When somebody interview my child, I'm beating your ass. That's number one. Number two, let's talk about the son, because Jaguar was saying her son was autistic, and the dad and the family was like, he's not autistic. He's not autistic. He's not autistic. But when you heard him talk, he was giving me Aquarius. Aquarians, they can be autistic. Now, obviously, not all of Aquarians, or all of Aquarius places, but Aquarius is one of the signs of autism. So he was giving me very much like Uranus, Mercury square Uranus type of tea. He was giving me Mercury, even in opposition to Uranus. He was giving me very much like, it was kind of weird. Because he's like, well, my mother, Jaguar, my mother, Josephine, whatever her name is, I love her. And and it wasn't like he was, and the reasoning that they gave for why he wasn't autistic was like, well, he understands people. Like, he's smart and he knew how to talk like that. And I'm like, y'all clearly don't understand autism, because autism is a spectrum. It's a spectrum. Like, so everybody with autism don't look the same. It just, people could exist on a different, of course, you have the lower functioning autistic people who do have a difficult time expressing themselves and who do have a difficult time talking. Yeah, autism don't mean dumb. So it's like, okay, him being a straight A student, him being in college doesn't mean he's not autistic. Him even carrying a conversation. There are a lot of high functioning autistic folks. It's a whole spectrum. So, and granted, I'm not a psychologist, but my man's he had like a little something. And it was more than just like him being weird. Cause that's why I saw people saying like in the comments, like, y'all just mad because he's a weird black boy. And he's a nerd. And we need more weird nerds. Who cares? Like, I'm not saying that because he's nerdy. Like, there are a lot of nerdy people. His weirdness kind of, it struck me as a step further than that. Like, it was like a social thing, not so much like an intellectual, like, oh, he's a nerd, he's so smart, that's why he's autistic. Or, it's like the way in which he was like relating to people, and like, it was a social thing. He was just socially weird. Like, it was awkward, but to a level where I just feel like, are you sure that's normal? I don't know. You might want to get that checked out, because like, that's not. It was giving me like the black family in denial kind of tea, because I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and give Jaguar Wright some points on this one, because my man's, he's fine gentleman, God bless him, but he did seem like it was like something was wrong with him. Even when they was talking about his mom being in the streets, he was like, well, my mom, she was in the streets. No, he was like, I don't want to have to be like my mom and resort to the method of the streets. I was like, not the method of the streets. I don't want to have to really resort to the method of the streets. And yeah, I love my mom. And people say I'm autistic, and I'm not. I've never been autistic in my life. I don't know what autism is. And I'm like, all right, okay. He was giving me autism vibes. I could be wrong. I just think it was autism. That man said the method of the streets. I'm gonna have to start saying that. It's the method of the streets for me. I don't want to have to resort to the method of the streets. So I'm gonna need another stimulus. Give me that stimmy, because it's either I get that stimmy or I'm resorting to the method of the streets. You choose. He one of them nerdy. Like I said, you could say he's weird, but I feel like it's something more to that. Tasha K is a Pisces. Exactly. You got a lot of straight up geniuses who are autistic, like folks who may like not be able to have the wherewithal or the capacity to understand like certain social cues or like to interact in certain dynamics with people, but like they know how to fucking do rocket science and some more shit. Like, So that is a common misconception. So when his family was like, well, he is intelligent. He has been a bright pupil since the age. I'm like, that has nothing to do with nothing. Y'all know nothing. Y'all, and then the aunt was like, other autistic people, and she said that he wasn't. And it's like, first of all, she didn't say that she had a degree. First of all, she didn't say she was an actual licensed practicing like psychologist. So I had a psychology class. I was a psych major when I started school off, girl, because if your daughter is a psych major, girl, she's giving me C's and D's. It's giving C's and D's, get degrees, girl. It's giving like, she came to class a couple times a semester and then went home for Thanksgiving break and start analyzing niggas like, oh yeah, oh, ain't nothing wrong with him, he fine. The quicker autistic people can get diagnosed and treated, the better their lives will be. So is that if they're in denial? Yeah, facts. He's fine as fuck. Okay. To each his own. But I do agree. People need to get diagnosed quicker. They need to be diagnosed a lot quicker. And so that was a part of the interview where I could just be like, hands down, y'all full of shit. Y'all are full of shit trying to talk around this. And I don't care what nobody tell me. Like I said, I'm under no illusion. I'm not a Jaguar Wright supporter. Like I don't follow her. I don't listen. I don't tune into her lives. Like she lost me after she started saying, after she started speaking on celebrities that she didn't know. Like that's when it clicked in my brain. Oh, then I looked at her chart and I was like, oh, okay, shorty not right. And I moved on. So, like I said, to me, it was kind of unnecessary, but Tasha is trying to redeem herself from that interview where she was like cross-questioning her and she lost all of those followers. So, I mean, I guess, but like I said, people with sense would understand that Jaguar Wright wasn't right anyway. So, this damn surviving Jaguar Wright it's not like something that hit me left field. Like, I can't believe it. But even with that being said, I don't care how crazy somebody is, there's always a grain of truth. Like, there's no such thing as somebody being completely wrong all of the time. Do y'all get what I'm saying? Just like there's no such thing as somebody being right all the time. Like anytime there's a scenario that's explained, even if the person is just straight up mentally unhinged, if she's Jaguar Wright status, even Jaguar Wright, like they say, a broken clock is correct 2 times a day. So I'm just wondering when them 2 times are, because like I got questions, because I just don't like stuff like that. And if you know that she's so mentally unhinged and unstable as your relative, why would you go interview a person who is going to exploit that on the YouTube world? If you know she's doing all of these things because the core of the matter is she is hurt, she is delusional. Like this woman is like, something is seriously wrong with her. Why do that? I'm talking about that situation with Jaguar Wright. Jaguar Wright, the lady who said Carmen raped her and all this other stuff. She went on it. She did an interview with Tasha K. Tasha K cross-examined her. Jaguar Wright said people had raped her. Jaguar Wright has said a lot of stuff. So she's come out with accusations about people in the industry. She's come out with accusations about people in her own like family. She always say somebody raped her, somebody did this happened, that happened, whatever. Tasha K pushed back on the narrative. People were angry because they were like, you're victim shaming. Why are you mad at her? Victim shaming, blah, blah, blah. Then I guess people started leaving Tasha K's channel. Then that's when she took it upon herself to fly across the country and to meet up with Jaguar Wright's family to interview them. And she created like a whole fucking Netflix special, like a Netflix special surviving Jaguar Wright. And she premieres it on her YouTube, like in different segments yesterday, today, and tomorrow. And yeah, it's just her interviewing the family members. Y'all kill me, Jaguar White and Tasha K look like stud. It's because of the short hair. Well, I cut my hair short, so when you're not dressing all hyper feminine, I feel like Jaguar White look like a stud more than Tasha, because Tasha K still be dressing up. But I learned the hard way, like when you got short hair, you can't, because I'm naturally like, my casual wear is real like dress downy, tomboyish. I used to wear a lot of basketball shorts, camo shorts when they was in back in the day, stuff like that, sweatpants. But when you cut your hair that short, you kind of gotta play up your feminine flair via dress. Otherwise, people will assume that you dyking. Like, and I had like a couple of girls. Like, I'm like, I like women, but bitch, I'm not a stud, man. I'm not a stud. It's not what you think it is, mama. I'm not your boyfriend. Yeah, you gotta dress it up. Yeah. And that's true too. I mean, if you don't mind, but I kind of got weirded out a little bit. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna have to put on a dress. Put on a dress. I mean, yeah. I was just and I know it's real popular for girls to be like, I was a tomboy. I mean, but that's how fire sign women are anyway. Like, all I did was play sports. I hoop. I played volleyball. Like, I ain't never have time to be into the stuff that other girls was into. So like nails and dresses and this and that and So I never really, I just would throw anything on and never really thought about it until I cut my hair off, and I tried to do that exact same thing. And, niggas thought I was a little boosie. 2 red bones kissing in the backseat. 2 red bone and 2 red bone. Told them to keep going, it relaxed me. Like, sir, I am not a stud. But y'all be surprised though, because like, interestingly enough, I got a lot of attention from men, which is like, I mean, I do live in Atlanta, so niggas was probably like, ooh, goddamn. Ooh, goddamn. But like, I got more when I would walk around here looking like a Jaguar Right stud, I got a lot of attention, from men. Like, men were like, it did not, I didn't deter not one nigga. Like, not one of my niggas, not a prospect nigga was like, oh no, I can't do this. Like, like, nah, it was like, hey, Sade, like, what's up? Like, they might ask a question like, you gay? Oh, you like dick? Oh, okay. I'm like, oh, wait. Oh, wait. And now I'm wondering if I should go through with it, because I'm questioning you. You wish they accepted Tom girls. I love Tom girls. I love to see me like a really like feminine butch, or like a Tom girl, like a dude who know how to swag like women's clothing, but he's still in touch with his masculinity. I love it. And I love it. Chill. Your clothing style somewhere between tomboy and girly girl. I did ask to pull them in with cargo shorts. I had them, I'll never forget. I had like these army fatigue ones, because like I said, back in the early, this was like when Wiz had first came out. And so all he had was like his little camo shorts. And he was like, camo shorts go with everything I want to wear. So I was like Wiz Khalifa inspired. So I would wear my like camos with some like J's or maybe some Chucks. You know what I'm saying? I used to love Chuck Taylors. Then that's when, like the button-up polos was popping like back in the day. Hey, like I'm finna swag surf. Man, I love that swag. My hat matching my bag. And I just be walking around like, Like, they used to be my shit. Yeah. Ask anybody who know me. That was my shit. And my mom used to always be like, because she's a Capricorn, you're a grown woman. You need to dress like a woman. You're a woman now. You need to dress like a woman. I'm like, girl, what does you want from me? Them niggas DL, right? I'm just saying. I mean, I'm under no illusion. I'm pretty sure. I know, men. Why you quiet as it's kept? That's why I never understood men. Have y'all seen like men and their obsession? Now, of course, it's not all men, but there is a particular subset of men who are obsessed with fucking studs. Y'all remember when Kodak Black was like, "Oh yeah, what's up, young MA? Yeah, I'ma fuck the shit out of young MA." Not to mention it was just disrespectful because you violating her because she is dead ass saying it's like it's sexual harassment. She's like, I don't like niggas. Like she's a whole nigga. Like young MA is a young man in these streets, and you like, I will fuck young MA and give her a baby. I fuck young MA, and everybody was like, well, she got a pussy, but I'm like, she still looks like a nigga. Like, why are y'all? So y'all don't find that kind of weird for y'all to be so homophobic, right? Because like, you know, all the rap boys, they hate gay people, but y'all are up here trying to justify lusting after and sexually harassing a stud. That's not weird to y'all. That's not strange. That girl looked like somebody's uncle. And I'm like, y'all dicks get hard for young MA? You got some soul searching to do. It might be time for you to live in your truth. I've talked about my Capricorn mother before. I mean, she's a Capricorn mom. She cares a lot about appearances, and I will say my mom, she's one of those, her birthday is the same day as Nicole Murphy. So she's like the glamorous Capricorn woman. So like in terms of like hypergamy, when people be like, oh, you think hypergamy is wrong. I don't think my mama practiced hypergamy. My mama's a motherfucking OG. Like when it comes to that type of shit, my mom has always been the type to know how to utilize what she got to get what she want. You know, she's just like, she's the quintessential, like, AKA Miss Glamorous. Like my mama she's a badass Capricorn woman. She's like the glitzy glam Capricorn woman. And it's just because I've always been very different from that. So we always have had a hard time really connecting. You know, Capricorn is all about outside, like external validation. And, you know, so she would measure my life in terms of like traditional achievements and what I should be doing and how I made her look and how we made the family look and all that kind of stuff. And that just wasn't me. As you can see, I cut hoes out on the internet. So my mother would never. My mom's like, oh, I'm so unbothered. You know how like Capricorn, like how Beyonce is a Capricorn South Node? Like, you know, Beyonce would never, I would never. I just see the haters and I address them and professionally. Yeah, the best revenge is your paper. Like that's my mama. And she a Libra South Node, so she low-key don't like conflict either. But everything is about being classy and refined. And then here I come. I pop out her coochie like, what's happening? And we just, you know, that therein lies the dynamic of our relationship. I love her to pieces, but she don't really understand me. I don't really fully understand her. We just be out here. Yeah. I mean, I think young MA is cute. I think young MA is cute. I'm not really into studs, but I think she's cute. But, you know, niggas think it's a whole lot of niggas who think she cute. Well, she's still a female though. Yeah, underneath male clothing and masculine, you know, like a masculine demeanor, the way she like just the way she carried herself, the way she walked, the way she talked, like, you know, like a nigga, like, and y'all are bending over backwards to try and sexually assault her. That's weird. They like the illusion that they turn the stud out, but pussy wins every time. Some men love sexually harassing lesbians. It's too... honestly, it goes back, and I'm trying not to get sucked into that I hate men vortex again, but a lot of men just like being able to dominate and overpower people, and they feel like they should be the center of the universe. And the irony is, you dog the women who actually are into you, but then the women who don't like you because they like other women, you try to force them to be into you too. So I'm confused. Remember when men used to fantasize about having, threesome with twins? Future said he fucking twin sisters. I don't give a fuck if they was twin sisters. He said, yes, you do. Venus sextile the ascendant. It depends on the sign, but typically it can create a person who is kind of agreeable, easygoing, a person that a lot of other people like, a very likable person, a person with good taste, a person who could be rather attractive. Like I said, it depends on the sign too. What I said about Malcolm X? Oh, about him being sexy? Your mom and dad are Leos. Oh, yeah. I'm a cat. They be embarrassing you. Your sister is gay, and she said that a lot of dudes would hate on her for no reason and talk shit to her. Wow. I mean, there's that too, because if they can't conquer you sexually, then they look at you as a threat. So I don't know what the double whammy means, but Saturn conjunct Mars and synastry could be problematic because it could deal with the Saturn partner is controlling over the Mars partner. Or they could be very closed off to the Mars partner. Gay porn? Gay thug porn? You like gay thug porn? See. And y'all say I don't like dealing with people with a difference of opinion because, girl, you need help. No, just playing. You like seeing two big hard body niggas fucking? That kind of fucks with my head. Like, I mean, I get it. Everybody, you do you. I don't know if I can get into thug porn, dog. Now I have seen like trans porn. I'm not gonna lie, because some of the women be baddies. Like trans women, it's like it's the best of both worlds. Because I like dick and I like titties. So if you got titties at the top and dick at the bottom, they be cute. That's like the weirdest porn that I've gotten into, where I'm like, I was questioning myself, like, what? But like they be going in. I've seen some trans and cis porn, yes. Like, and that's another thing. Y'all be thinking, well, I mean, I used to think it too, that like when it comes to the trans community, like just because a person makes it, like what a person does with their genitals versus their sexual preferences are different. So like there are trans women who will still be attracted to regular cis women and like will hunt cis women. As weird as that seems, and as a cis woman, does that make you like gay adjacent? Does it make you like bisexual? Does it make you kind of like, but technically you still getting dick, but it's like you getting dick and I'm confused. My head hurts. It's just you go down the rabbit hole and yeah, like yeah. I don't kink shame as long as it's consensual, like two consenting adults. I don't kink shame people, and I think people need to be more open about. Well, it's the age of Aquarius, so people are going to be more open. But it is what it is, and I think especially when it comes to women, we're boxed in terms of the things that we're supposed to find erotic and attractive. So, yep. Trans porn be popping. Some of them. That's why I say I can't watch trans porn and then in my waking life hate trans people. So like, just because I call somebody a hermaphrodite doesn't mean I'm transsexual. I mean, doesn't mean I'm transsexual. Doesn't mean I'm transphobic or whatever the case may be. Right? Doesn't make you straight. Y'all watching trans porn but judging me. Oh, it makes you pansexual. Okay. Well, I mean, but here we go with the labels things. It's just like I like what I like. I like what I like. Basically like lesbian porn, but with straps. But like they just got dicks. Like they don't even like it's just, and actually that's better because when you see lesbians hunching and like they use the strap to me, and I've never used the strap in my personal life because you can't feel it. And to me, the part that, and maybe this is just my Scorpio speaking, like what makes sex so great is like the intimacy, because literally a part of that other person is inside of you. So like you're feeding off of my energy, I'm feeding off of your energy. If you just got like a piece of plastic hanging between your legs, like I don't know. And then when it comes to like the person who's topping, you don't feel you. So like the other person is just getting off and you just sitting there looking stupid. Like I know y'all watch, well, I might be telling my age because I'm gonna do a series on porn stars, but I'm gonna have to say that for Patreon. But Pinky, okay, back in the day, well, Pinky's still cute to me, even though she then got big. But like back in the day, Pinky used to do these little series where she would strap the women and she would like fuck these women and she would be fucking them better than the men. Like when I tell you she had Brian Pumper, she had all them niggas beat. She had all those niggas beat. But even still, like it looked like it was pleasurable for the women, and it probably was, but for Pinky, it was just a job. Like she wasn't feeling nothing, and the girls was sucking all on it and licking it. I'm like, it fucked me up. Like it fucked my vibe up because I'm like, that's not sexy, bro. Like she don't even feel that. Like if she just Pinky just sitting back, like yeah, yeah, Like girl, you don't feel shit. Hush. People have certain kinks. We all do. Facts. Somebody asked what were I don't remember where I saw it, but like somebody asked what were like trans indicators. This brings me back around to the Sierra conversation. Not that I really wanted to go there, but since we're on it, okay. You see an abundance of scorpionic energy in these people's charts. So specifically, if we're talking about like Scorpio sun conjunct Pluto, in her case, she had her sun conjunct Pluto, conjunct that South node. Okay, then she has Saturn conjunct fucking goddamn, or her Saturn was at the 27th degree of Scorpio. A lot of very prominent Plutonic placements, a lot of prominent Scorpio placements tend to be trans. And even when you think about from the standpoint of those who do opt for surgery, right? Which is why I said she probably had a procedure done at birth. But, you know, Scorpio also deals with not just the genitalia, but even surgery, you know, incisions, start having surgical procedures. And depending on how, you know, what else is going on, or maybe how Pluto is being aspected, or whatever the case may be, it can give you a little bit more information in terms of what is being operated on, or what's going, you know, what the situation is at hand. But it just so happens that in that, you know, in that particular case, you know, but you could also look at it as Uranus, lots of Uranus energy, or Aquarian energy could, you know, indicate trans, you know, like I see a lot of people with maybe, let's say, that could be another, like, honestly, Venus square Uranus, or like maybe a dude with Uranus in opposition to his ascendant or something. You know, Neptune is more like the dude that dresses up. Like if a dude had like maybe his Mars in opposition to Neptune, like the dude who will cross dress. I know there's a lot of Cancer Mars men. Maybe they may not be trans, but they'll definitely be, a lot of them can be homosexuals or like effeminate. Threesomes with bisexual men. What was that like? I saw a lesbian porn skit that reminded me of Orange is the New Black. I loved it. I hate the acting in porn. They acting be so it's so like, hello, I'm here. I told you the next time you didn't pay me my money, I was gonna fuck your mom. So you have to sit here while I fuck your mom. Come here, you fucking naughty slut. Come lay down. Do you want this big cock? Oh yes, I want this big cock. The acting is so subpar. I just skip over it. I fast forward. Let's get to the part where they fucking and move on. You said that's why you like being the bottom. Come through, bottom. So like, how do you okay, about that, like, how, like, is douching hard, or is it something that just like over time it becomes easier? Yes, we got to talk about sex in every stream. You already know. Placements. Well, I thought Michael Jackson. Well, people thought Michael Jackson was gay. We'll talk about it because I can't remember all of his chart off the top of my head. So I guess, you know, that means I just got to do a Michael Jackson reading very soon. And I'll be sure to talk about that, though. I saw a porn when the chick's eyes are glazed. The fuck over, she looked high. Yes, yeah. Actually, in my opinion, I feel like, and I mean, I know there are some professional porn stars who be doing that shit because they miserable and they need money and they full of it. And that brings me to my next point before I make my first point. Sex work is not for the faint of heart, and that's another thing that comes with that Aquarian era, where it's like, oh, you know, hoe culture is mainstream culture with Uranus and Taurus, and oh, it's about being a hoe. Everybody don't need to be a hoe, fam. Like, some of y'all be straight up traumatized, like, and that's what I mean when we talk about groupthink. Okay, the group collective is saying, oh, be a hoe, be a hoe, be a hoe, live free, live free, live free. And even at the expense of people where being a hoe may not work for them. Some of these people be having sexual trauma and shit like that. Or they just be, you know, like, everybody don't need to be hoes. That's why I said I had to realize I don't need to be a hoe. And so taking it back to the porn star thing, like, being a sex worker is not an easy job. It's glorified. It's easily accessible. A lot of people talk about it. Oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. Like, you have to have a certain type of mentality to be a sex worker. You just do. Okay, so I'm conflicted because, you know, they be sex trafficking folks. And I be feeling too, like, when I'm watching amateur porn, when I see a person who look too young, because I'm like, how old is this bitch? Or if they be looking kind of sad, I be thinking in the back of my mind, like, what if they're a sex trafficking victim and they're forcing them to do this. I don't know. My Virgo moon, I be thinking too much. So sometimes I actually rather go with professional porn where like I know it's a more secure scenario because anybody can upload anything when it comes to amateur porn. I can't have casual sex with anyone I'm not emotionally built for. Big facts. To everyone that's in the chat tonight, try being with someone. What is that? What that mean? A lot of girls end up on drugs from sex work. Yeah. See, that's sad. I don't know the way my Jupiter Pluto. Come on, Bree. Girl, yes, them titles be blowing me. Stepson breeds mom. Father breeds daughter. I'm like, bro. Like, and this is a part, and me and my friend was having this conversation, and she kind of put me onto this too. Like, it's a part of that mind control ultra programming. I think is what it's called. MK Ultra mind control. Y'all go look it up. MK Ultra mind control. Where they're trying to program people to be okay with stuff like that's that Aquarius shit. That's that dark side Aquarius shit, y'all. They want to program people to be okay with like perversions and like incest and the P word and all kinds of shit. Like they want people to accept this shit as normal and mainstream. And so and that's another reason why I'm conflicted. Like I like porn, I like fucking. Or, ideally, I would like to fuck. I like watching people fuck. But it gets really weird really quick for me because I just be looking at certain stuff. Like you said, like the titles. And now I'm second guessing the people. And I don't know. It's weird. I got a love-hate relationship with porn. It's weird. It's so weird. It's so weird. Some of them be looking drugged as well. Yes, Pornhub is getting backlash for having rape videos or videos where the people didn't consent. Yeah, exactly. So you gotta be very mindful of that. Oh, scissoring, bumping coochies. You bump coochies, Maya? Bumping coochies, bumping coochies. Bumping coochies. I might do a video on the top 5 nastiest signs. I know Virgo got to go up in there. I already know motherfucking of course everybody gonna say Scorpio, but Virgo going up in there too. Then I would have to say I would put Sag in there. Would I put Sag? Sagittarius can be very experimental in the bedroom. But you got to put Capricorn in there too. Don't be sleeping on these earth signs now. Hella awkward when the porns with the creepy titles are actually good. Like, I don't want it in my sign. Right? Like, nah, fam. Nope. Honestly, it's hard for me. If the title is too weird, I can't get into it. Honestly. That's why I said my mind, that's just how my mind works. Like, I'm like, oh, hell no. Like, I got to find something else. I ain't no way I'm finna bust a nut to shit that's, teen, hot teen, young teen, barely look like, oh, hell no. Next day. Y'all niggas is nasty. Y'all got the game fucked up. That's why I get the private app and delete it afterwards. Yeah, I don't watch porn. I mean, it's not for everybody. I noticed something to talk about. So the dude who seen Throat Babies, right? Throat Babies. Okay, so I looked up his chart just because I'm like, this nigga singing about throat babies. How about he a Taurus? But then in the video, I noticed he had like he had what's the porn star? Tiana Trump in there. And he kept talking about like porn stars and all this other stuff. And I'm like, watch this nigga be a Pisces moon. And sure enough, he was a Pisces moon. It's official. Pisces moon men love porn. They love porn. But them the type of niggas that be addicted to porn to the point where he probably be the type where like he fantasizing and making songs about throw babies and shit. But in real life, he probably can't even get that shit up for like a real woman, like where it'd be hard to, you know, be intimate. Turned it into a song. It is sick. It's sick. So that's why I be like, yeah, I'm straight on that. But that's that Aquarius shit. They trying to program folks to like think that shit is okay. Capricorn is down and dirty. Down and dirty. Scorpio, like, and that's so funny because finding out Trey Songz was a Scorpio South Node and he liked to pee on people like R. Kelly, and R. Kelly is a Scorpio South Node too. I was like, Lord have mercy. You want to try webcam modeling? It's a lot of girls doing it. I heard they get paid. If that's something that you feel like that's for you, do it. If y'all hear me get far away, it's because I'm making some salmon. Because I ain't never ate. I hardly ate today. And I'm hungry. Y'all need to make sure that y'all are eating wild caught salmon. Okay? Be mindful of all of that other shit. The farm, you know, the farm grown salmon. It's not good for you. Maybe I'm old as fuck, but I'm bored of this hypersexual shit in music. It comes across as attention whore. It does. And honestly, it's like, it's low vibrational. It's low vibrational. Now, I wish I had my friend in the chat because she can explain it so well. Like why people want to keep our vibration so low so that they can find different ways to like play with our consciousness and stuff like that. I do love salmon. I'm gonna turn into a damn fish. I do love salmon so much. And it's a perfect go-to because sometimes I feel kind of weird eating chicken. Like if it's not fried chicken, I know that's bad. And if I'm trying to eat healthy, I'm like, okay, it's just my go-to, either that or turkey. Turkey or fish. So not Joe Budden just signed the STEMI. The STEMI, where's my STEMI? So I don't have to go to the method of the streets. They found a lot of, they found porn in Michael Jackson's house? Well, my God. Some kids said Michael Jackson showed them porn magazine. And people don't want to admit this. Now, I do remember this off the top of my head. Michael Jackson, he's a Virgo sun, and he has his sun conjunct Pluto. You know, the sun deals with children. It also deals with virgins, in terms of Virgo, right? Virgo is the virgin. And like, you could look at that aspect two ways. If you want to be generous, you could look at it as him feeling like he has to preserve and protect children and protect their innocence and protect their virginity and their purity. But you could also look at that as him grooming children, because Virgo is also the sign of the groomer. And they could also deal with him, you know what I mean? Well, that Pisces moon and rising, I don't know, guys. I don't know. I mean, I do know. I just hate to say it. It's sad. It's nasty. The issue is, I don't think all of those people who are stepping forward, I don't think it was as many people as it was. Now, does that make it okay? Is that to say like, oh, it's okay if you do it to a few and not all? Absolutely fucking not. But I'm just saying, I feel like the people who got greedy made it harder to like actually bring justice to actual victims, because kind of like the R. Kelly thing, like R. Kelly has actually victimized real deal children in these streets, but because you got these grown ass women, well, you know, he told me hello and I went home with them. Bitch, it sounds like it was consensual to me. It just didn't turn out the way you wanted it to. Now, because we focusing on that, it delegitimizes, you know, situations where there are real people, like real children being victimized. I remember in the models, You Are My World said Michael Jackson liked her, flirted with him. When she kissed him, he acted like she molested him. He's like, ugh, how could you? Ugh, yucky. Michael Jackson said, oh. You think he was groomed as a child? Yeah, there's that. What about Moon opposing Neptune? Just in general, that can deal with a person who feels like an outcast, or there could be issues like maybe they were neglected as children, maybe they were abandoned as children, issues with the mother. The mother could have been on drugs or some shit. Or, like I said, just really neglectful and not paying attention. She could have mental health issues. She could have been victimized. I tend to find a lot of Moon opposite Neptune people could be homeless at certain points too. So, was in the room while his older brothers were fucking groupies and some groupies wanted to fuck him as well. I honestly think, and I've heard like a couple of psychics talk about how his brothers did stuff to him too. Well, I started whispering when I was talking about Michael Jackson. Girl, I don't know. Chiron in the first house could bring, right? Honestly, though, that's not so much Chiron. I mean, Chiron can create a person who was like bullied, and it can, in the sense, like I get it to the point where like Chiron does deal with wounds and stuff like that, but like, so I guess it depends on whatever else is going on. But like, if I'm reading a chart, I would need to see more than just Chiron in the first house before I arrive to that conclusion, and put it like that. Okay, give me a second, guys. I gotta find my pots and pans. Where is mine? Oh, here we go. But I don't believe you don't think he did. Michael Jackson owned the Sony catalog. Listen, I'm talking shit, and that's what I mean. And I'm not saying you, Big Pain. I'm just saying it makes me think about like when I talk about the astrology or something. And then people will like be like, well, you know, they'll kind of like what old girl did, who, you know, with Sierra and from her burner account, where it's like you're arguing things that don't have nothing to do with astrology. I'm just speaking on the astrology of it, and sometimes I'm like it's kind of weird when sometimes the astrology or something paints a different picture other than what you've been told. Because I agree with you, Big Pain. Like I've always felt that way. I've always felt like there was a narrative to get him. So imagine my surprise when I opened up his chart and I saw that nigga had his Virgo sun conjunct Pluto and some more shit. I'm like, whoo, well, I don't know. I don't know, man. My daughter loves Michael Jackson though. She just got introduced to Michael Jackson, and we'll watch like his little videos. And when she discovered that man changed his whole skin color, because at first she was watching like Thriller, she loves Beat It. So she's like, oh mama, I love Michael Jackson. Michael Jackson is so cool. Michael Jackson is so this and so that. Then we start watching Remember the Time. That's my favorite video. Then I was like, Maddie, do you know who's in this video? And this is when he was walking in the robe. But she was like, yeah, mama, it's Michael Jackson. Then he popped his white ass out that road. Maddie said, "Who is that?" Maddie said, "Who is that?" I was like, "That's Michael." She said, "Why he look like that?" What can indicate aspects that indicate rape in the natal chart? Mars squaring Pluto, Pluto squaring or opposing the ascendant. Sometimes people with Venus square Pluto or Venus opposing Pluto, or sometimes Venus Scorpio individuals, depending on what's going on with that. Certain afflictions to the 8th house. Yeah, as a child, like I remember I used to love me some Michael Jackson. Oh my, I was obsessed. Me and my cousin would be in the living room and we be mastering all the dances. Now we was some little fast ass kids. You know that song, something about you, baby, that makes me want to give it to you. Keep it in the closet. Oh, nobody at all. 6-year-old making something about you, baby. Whining it, rolling my little baby Kiki. My mama should have beat my ass. Want to give it to you. I mean, you know. I used to love that song. I always thought MJ was killing himself without knowing. Interesting. You know, that Pisces shit also deals with him dying because of that medication. Like him always wanting to get drugged up. A lot of Piscean dominants have a difficult time sleeping. I noticed that. A lot of people with Pisces energy or 12th house placements have hard time sleeping. Like if it's afflicted. Or maybe they'll like sleep too much. In his case, he couldn't fall asleep. So you could look at that as him needing medicine to fall asleep. Even with his sun conjunct Pluto and Virgo, him dying because of that medicine. Or him being administered a shot, an injection that killed him. Because Pluto deals with injections. Virgo deals with medicine. How does that song go? Well, I said like I can hear you sing it. You want this. I can't remember it. That likes being degraded? Oh, baby. Well, find you some Saturn going on, like Saturn fucking Mars squaring Saturn or some shit. A lot of Capricorn placements like being degraded. So do a lot of Virgo placements. That song was freaky and have no business. Why as kids did we instantly whine our hips dancing? Girl, I'm trying to tell you, they had big more hip in the world. My daughter do that shit. I be looking at her like, excuse me? She be, this is my song, mama. This is my song. And like, I be like, listen, it's a lot of stuff I did as a kid. Where if I saw my daughter do it, when I tell y'all I beat her ass so fast. I mean, we used to do the not the crybaby that Meg the Stallion do when she hunching her back and rocking back and forth. Nah, we did the crybaby, like when you on the ground, like back it up, thumb in your mouth, like We used to do all kinds of shit. Listen to all kinds of music we ain't have no business listening to. I remember I used to like, I don't know, and this is, you know, I grew up in the old Atlanta when Ludacris was popping. So that, yeah, give it to me now, give it to me now, give it to me now. I wanna let give from your head to your toes, and I wanna move on the. When I was little, I used to sing that all the time. My mom was like, turn that shit off. Pisces, Mars, and North Node, you forever trying to make yourself chill. Wow. Interesting. I don't think he faked his death. That man is dead and gone. He dead and gone. Gemini is the sign of ADHD, hands down. So a lot of Saturn, Gemini, a lot of people with their Saturn and Gemini, or maybe they got an afflicted Mercury or something like that. My mother let me and my sisters dance in the house. We weren't allowed to do the butterfly. What? Y'all can do the butterfly. Girl, we was twerking before twerking was twerking, girl. Hands on your knees, hands on your knees. Get fucking with it. That was everybody's free pass to twerk. At all the family functions, all the old folks be looking at us like, sit y'all asses down. See, we in the same age group. The crybaby. Come on now. I was like, that's when I realized I was an old hoe. I said, the game done changed. The game done changed. Yeah, when somebody said do the crybaby and all the bitches around me start humping the air, rocking back and forth, I'm on the ground face down. I'm like, oh, hell no. See, it's time for me to, that's when I knew it was time to stop hoeing. Because we not built the same. It's not, the game done changed. Right, the body is dead. His consciousness has moved on. Correct. I'm like, what the fuck is the cry? We're just rocking back and forth. I'm like, see, I'm not about to do this with y'all. I love that video. I loved that video. I love the I don't want to stop just because it feels so good inside of my life. I'm not gonna stop, no. I want you now. And that is the perfect example of like, it was so sensual because like she wasn't showing everything. And I'm not a super modest person. Y'all know I ain't modest at all, but it's just something to be said. It was just, I didn't know I could appreciate the sensuality of a Taurus the way that I did. That shit was beautiful. She just made me want to. A fine ass nigga move across the street from you or across the hall, tiptoe in your Jordans, open the door, and fuck them. The good old days. You want to try some pole fitness classes, dance classes? That would be fun. That is a workout. Them strippers be having like the upper body core strength like on lock. That's actually very, I need to do that. You got to be able to hold your body weight up. That's a lot. I don't want to stop just because people in the crowd are watching us. My mother gave and I get, so come on, yes. I can't let just anybody help me. Come on, yeah, she had that blazer like, yeah. I used to like that. Janet Jackson, she's a queen. She really is. People need to give her roses while she's still here, man. She's a queen. She is like the ultimate queen. She paved the way for all the women who can't sing like that, but who can, like all of the like non-singer performers, because like she just goes to show you don't have to be the best vocalist, but like everything about her was top tier though, like as a package, like as a unit. Like she was giving you looks, she was gonna give you theatrics and production, but you already know she was gonna give you choreo. She was gonna give you that choreo, that one, that two, that turn around and hit, that dip. Yeah. She was gonna give you that 6-pack. She was gonna give you something nasty. Miss Jackson, if you nasty. She was gonna give you all of that. Who the fuck do that these days? Huh? Nobody. Maybe Tiana Taylor. A lot of people have compared her to Tiana Taylor. And I can see that. The fact that people call Janet Jackson by her name. No. Right. Not Michael Jackson's sister. Right. It's like, no. Like, that's Michael Jackson, but like Janet Jackson. Like, let's be very clear about this. She's Janet. She's like, and I had this conversation with my mom not too long ago. Like, think about how many of them there was. Like, why ain't nobody else hit it off like this? So is it safe to say that Michael and Janet were the only two talented ones? Because the other ones have had like little hit singles, not hit singles, but maybe they had like little hits, like one hit wonders, or they put out music, but and nothing ever really became of it long term. So I don't know if it's just one of those things where maybe the other people didn't want it, like the other siblings, LaToya, Phoebe and all them, whatever their names is. About 50,000 of them niggas. I'm sorry, Alicia. What? Like, I'm trying to get to the bottom of this disconnect. Like, what? Why don't you like Tiana Taylor? She's amazing. Beyonce is nasty. I'm not a Beyonce fan, but she do have it's not hard to do. In real life, that lady is boring. She's a boring Virgo. But her shows, she really do be like, she be showing out. I believe that Jermaine was going to take off, but MJ stopped his bag. Really? Tiana Taylor is a Libra moon. She's also a fellow Sag. You like Beyonce? I guess, child. I'm gonna spare your woman tonight because I always talk shit about her. I'm gonna relax. You think she tried too hard to be like what? Like, what is it that she tries too hard to do? I think she could be comparable to Janet. She actually got a better voice than Janet Jackson, but it's just, I don't think she's had as many iconic, like, we're talking about in terms of like star power, selling units. Like, Janet Jackson was literally on top of the world in the 80s and in the 90s. And Tiana Taylor still ain't had her career take off officially. But when I look at like her style and like influence and her potential, maybe that's what it is. I see her having that potential to really be that big. Hey, Ramel. Hell yeah, sweetie. Try so hard to be ghetto. Hold on, y'all. Let me flip my salmon. Ow, shit. Okay. I'm okay. Yeah, I popped myself. That was some of that oil popped out the skillet. What's up, Bernice? I guess I've been on here hella long. I ain't got shit else to do. I do, but I can make a little time. mean, I'm not gonna take it from her. Beyonce is a really good vocalist, but she's still overrated. Beyonce's true personality comes out when she's on stage. She is a really good performer, though. I'm not gonna take that from her either. She's just not my brand of person. Like, I don't like. She's just not my brand of music now. I like Solange's music more than I like Beyonce's. Quiet as it's kept, loud as it is. I did a reading on Tiana Taylor too about that. Her being done with music. She is a Leo South Node. A lot of Leo South Nodes don't feel like they get the appreciation or the recognition they deserve too. All these whisper singer chicks are Janet babies, right? Singing. No, y'all seen Kaya when she was talking about Janet Jackson. What song was it? Come on me. What song was it when she was singing like Janet Jackson? Sing it like this, and then sing it like this, sing it. Janet gonna give you a cute little whisper. Janet gonna give you like this. She gonna give you a little sing. Janet, I like Beyonce's first album, that Dangerously in Love. Beyonce, I bet she is born in person. She's just born. What is Kaya's impersonation of Mariah Carey? No, I remember when Kaya did that Michael Jackson song. You know what I'm talking about? I would play it, but you know, Kaya like flagging folks. When she was like, my nigga, what's what you say? And he want this, can't let that head go. No. Can't let that head go. No. Kaya is so funny. Oh my God. Y'all gotta go listen to it. Can't let that head go. No. I gotta listen. I gotta hear that. I gotta hear. Speaking of Kaya, is it bad that I pay for a subscription so I can watch her gag orders on Monday? Is that bad? I could do a reading on Kaya. I think I'll do because to be honest, if I'm thinking about it, because I looked at her chart before, I gotta look at it again. She don't really have a bunch of super creative ass aspects. That's what make it kind of interesting. But I guess I'll do like a formal reading on her. So I'm about to hop on off because my computer finna. Oh, it's 11:11. Confirmation. My computer finna die. I love y'all. Thank y'all for holding me down. Olivia J. I don't know who that is. I will do my homework. I love y'all. I'll holler at y'all soon. T.S. Madison, I can do it. Y'all might just have to remind me from time to time. So I love y'all. Thank y'all for coming in, and I will holler at y'all later. Good night.